Hey now, hey now,
Hey now.
hey now, hey
Hey
now.
now, everybody. Happy New Year. I hope you all had a fantastic New Year's Eve. I certainly did. It was definitely better than my Christmas stuff. I didn't stay up to watch the ball drop. I honestly don't care about that anymore. Like, unless you're young or have like a party to go to, like, there really is no reason to like stay up late and get all into that. At least not in my opinion. Obviously, yeah, if a bunch of your friends invite you out, then, why not? But that wasn't what was happening with the Beliefs household. Anyways, so this guy here, Mikey No More, has made a couple of other uh, docs, which are pretty interesting. Um, One that I really liked was his stuff on Review Tech. Those were good. This one about Vickers, where I learned a whole ton of stuff because I just knew like the name Vickers, but I didn't know like his lore at all. And good fucking lord, I mean, when Ralph can hold a W on you, you know you've done fucked up.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Although to be fair, it's like yeah, he holds the W, but doesn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things. But so let's look up or well, let's look up, excuse me. Let's watch this new thing that has been released. Well, it's feels like it's older than 3 days, but
There's a saying that if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. But what if what you love is reading other people's articles in a camera for 10 minutes at a time, e-begging from your audience, and starting businesses that light up like the Notre Dame Cathedral the second you have to actually run them? Can you really still call what you're doing work at that point? Well, you would if your name was Jeremy Hambly,
oh
aka
god,
the Quartering. You know, the word grifter gets thrown around a lot these days. It's an
it
overused
does.
catch-all term for anyone with a donation link or just a bad opinion. But we need to get back to the
I don't think it's just someone with a donation link. Wouldn't that be an e-beggar?
roots of the word, the
Oh
classic
god.
definition. A con artist, a shyster, someone who uses deceit to swindle. And if the Quartering isn't a grifter, none of these other internet hustlers are either. Thing is, the Quartering is not even really a hustler. He's a prolific slot manufacturer who's gotten out of almost every financial jam.
I think that was supposed to be slop. SLOP, not slot. I just mean the translation was wrong or closed captions.
Essentially by relying on his fans to bail him out the moment he got
Oh god, he bought that shitty Genesis mini console, the one by At Games, I think it was. I don't think that was like the super official one. When Sega, after they saw how bad the At Games one was, they said, "Fuck this, we need to redeem ourselves," and they made another one that was actually good. Actually, yeah, no, yeah, that is because they actually made a Genesis Mini. So yeah, that's that awful At Games one.
got confronted with a problem, vomiting out 5 to 6 videos a day couldn't solve. If there's one thing I've learned about Jeremy Hambly while making this video, it's that when the times get tough, the Quartering gets to begging.
The beginning.
Jeremy Hambly has always been two things: a neckbeard and obsessed with becoming an entrepreneur. Being a man of industry, a guy who owned his own business and didn't have to answer to anybody, has been an admittedly admirable long-time trait of Jeremy's, and he's been at it for over 2 decades. Probably his oldest internet capitalist venture was his business, Be Your Own IT, back in 2008.
Be your own IT.
What?
Other ways to instant message. Keep your backups current with Sync Toy. Never heard of that. How to set up Windows Live Mail when. Okay. Replace the standard Windows taskbar. Speed up your Windows 7 use with these shortcuts.
How did you
Well, I've
get
been
into YouTube?
YouTubing for almost 20 years. Like,
Wait, who else is there?
How did you
Oh, there's Friday Night Tights.
What?
What a name for a show. Yeah, I know who is this? Yeah, the only guy who I recognize is this guy here, the heels versus babyface, and it's only because of the pronouns. Pronouns.
well, I've
get
been
into
YouTubing for almost 20 years. Like, my very first channel, it still exists. It's called Be Your Own IT. And if you go back and look at like the oldest video, I'm there.
Be Your Own IT was a tech YouTube channel and website essentially dedicated to scamming boomers who couldn't use Google or know how to browse tech forums into paying Jeremy to give them the most basic tech advice in the world. There were already YouTube channels back in the early aughts that offered essentially the same value of info that Jeremy was trying to dupe people into paying for. Unsurprisingly, the business struggled, and it led Jeremy to making a video in 2008 that would completely foreshadow his future career of entrepreneurship. I ain't got the video though. It's gone. Jeremy managed to get rid of it along with almost any other evidence that Be Your Own IT was a thing that he was once affiliated with. This was a smart move on Jeremy's part because a lot of those videos did not age well for him, including the video I'm talking about, which Jeremy literally titled
A sad, pathetic cry for help. Oh, God.
A Sad, Pathetic Cry for Help from Me. Now, fortunately, while we don't have the video, the transcript did manage to survive. And to summarize, the video was basically a precursor to every I need your help, my channel is under attack video that Jeremy has ever made. Double speaking about how the channel and blog are doing great while also admitting he only makes 25 cents off the site every 2 days. Talking about how the business barely making any money is fine because it's all about helping people with his 10 years of computer repair experience anyway. He says this while also pleading for people to share the video, share the blog, make videos about his videos in his blogs, and maybe doing a response for a response, share for a share thing that YouTubers back in the early days like to do. Basically, his business was doing bad and Jeremy begged for his YouTube audience to come to his rescue. Yeah, bro's been doing that for going on 18 years. He might actually be one of the only guys on the internet who's been crying to their audience for support longer than Darkside Phil. Jeremy Hambly, when it comes to being a strong, independent businessman, is soft as baby shit and quick to resort to a bailout from his community whenever he can. Also, the whole thing about just wanting to help people with his computer repair skills and not caring that Be Your Own IT barely made any money was a
what a goofy room setup. Like having these two doors so close to each other. I mean, I'm assuming one is the way out and the other is like a closet or a bathroom or something. But just looks weird. Like to just have like two doors that are like maybe 6 feet apart, right on the same wall like that. Like when's the last time you saw a room designed like that?
Lie, because as soon as he was able to, Jeremy sold that bitch to somebody else and never engaged in any further computer repair content again.
What I did was I started selling these little how to repair your own computer kits, and then some VC guy bought that channel from me, and I think I got $160,000.
Not only because it didn't make him that much money, and competition in the online IT advice scene was really starting to heat up around 2011 when he sold it, but because, just like with Review Tech USA, Jeremy's tech know-it-all was actually quite limited, despite having over a decade's worth of computer repair.
Hold on one sec. When I bought my brand new Asus laptop, actually been upgraded by some third party. Essentially, I saw 4 TB SSD. When everyone came 512 from the factory, when I sent it for repair, they wouldn't cover it under warranty.
Experience, Jeremy can't even repair his own laptops. He has to send them to an actual expert instead. Now, even though his tech era was over, Jeremy wouldn't stop making YouTube
trying to fix an SSD, like if it's physically damaged, you're kind of fucked. You can't like do anything with flat out broken hardware.
Content after Be Your Own IT. All throughout the early 10s, Jeremy would start multiple channels that were more or less just him trying to find a way to turn his various consumerist hobbies into YouTube hustles.
Movie box.
You had RC Nightmare, where Jeremy would show off and play with various radio control toys, a strong obsession of his to this day. And this wasn't the only RC channel he had, just the first and biggest one. He'd make a bunch of offshoots: RC Flight School, RC Skipper, RC Spotlight,
What?
Team RCN, and Friends of RC. Jeremy
God.
really wanted to be a popular RC YouTuber. He also made Clawstruck, a channel dedicated to claw machines.
You know, and then I started a channel about RC cars, and I sold that. And then claw machines.
Yeah,
and
that's my favorite.
Claw machine.
the claw machines one was my
dude.
favorite. It's so sad that that died.
But out of all of these hobby channels, the one Jeremy would go on to get the most mileage out of was one he started in 2012 called Unsleeved Media.
Oh, God.
What's up, guys? Jeremy and Brandon here from MTG headquarters. That's short for Magic the Gathering. How's it going? Our hands.
Unsleeved Media, also known as MTG Headquarters, was, as both names suggest, a channel dedicated to Magic the Gathering, a children's trading card game that has gradually evolved into a middle-aged men's trading card game. Jeremy's channel didn't stand out that much. There were plenty of MTG channels out there, and he would do about what most of them did: unboxing videos, talking about new sets, talking about tournaments, the latest meta, rule changes, the occasional giveaway, etc., etc., about what you expect. Still, Jeremy grinded it out and built a decent following over the years, with Unsleeved Media eventually hitting 75,000 subs by 2015.
Wow.
Well, we got there. Or rather, we're
Yeah.
almost there. To the 75,000 subscriber celebration. And I can't
Legit, that shaking is like getting to me. Bro, steady this.
thank you guys enough.
Jeremy is noticeably more chill in these videos. Unsleeved Media, like all of his other hobby channels, revolved around him doing things he genuinely enjoyed. And while making money was always a goal, it wasn't the be-all, end-all reason for why Jeremy made content back in the day.
Oh,
Until
how
it was.
things have
See,
changed.
around 2015, Jeremy would try to turn his Unsleeved Media side hustle into an actual business. Not just through Patreon either. Nah, he was going to launch a mobile app called Game Finder
What?
that he had ambitions to turn into a cornerstone for players in the MTG
Oh,
community.
no.
How did he manage to get the money to develop it? By crowdfunding it to a tune of about $30,000. The purpose was simple: create a way for players to be able to find other players to play Magic with. Basically Tinder or Grindr, but for middle-aged men playing a children's card game. Very
What year was this? Like, was Discord a thing by then?
straightforward idea. And hey, it blew up. Like a boat full of fentanyl en route for the United States leaving the Venezuelan coast, I mean. It flopped, basically. And why it flopped was pretty simple. Users really weren't fans of how the app handled location data and personal info. There were still bugs because the app's maintenance was ass. It just didn't get any traction. Wasn't a whole lot of reason to use it as opposed to Facebook or Discord, which launched the same year as Game Finder did.
Oh,
You would
okay,
think
there
that
we
a guy
go.
with over a decade of tech experience would have considered these things before launching the app and wasting everyone's money. But nah, Jeremy's first crowdfunded business was basically dead on arrival. It looked like Jeremy was going to be stuck being an eternal hobbyist tuber forever. But
What
there
does he look like in there? Like, it's...
money, but nah. Jeremy's first crowdfunded business was basically dead on arrival. It looked like Jeremy was going to be stuck being an
That is
eternal
not a flattering
hobbyist tuber
look, I have
forever.
to say.
But there had been a little culture war about ethics in games
Uh-oh.
journalism going on since 2014. Now, Jeremy wouldn't get involved in Gamergate himself, but ripple effects from it, the veterans of it, and the seeds of culture war it would spread across the web would greatly impact Jeremy's future career. It was in 2017 that he would throw himself in his first culture war scuffle. And I want you to pay attention, because 2017 is where the Hambly Ministry of Truth's narrative crafting really starts to kick in. It all started in June of 2017 when Jeremy got blacklisted by Wizards of the Coast.
It's no secret to those of you who have followed me for a long time that I am blacklisted. Both officially, I mean, basically as officially as they can do it. I can still play in sanctioned events currently. I'm probably one offensive joke away from getting my DCI taken. There was a brief period of time where I was somebody that they would send free product to. And I'd gotten to the point where they would even let me do spoilers occasionally. I had done a few spoilers for them.
They decided they were done with this fool and wouldn't send him any more promotional material. This was a very big deal to Jeremy because, again, he'd been trying and failing to turn his internet shit into a career for years, and unsleeved media had been the closest he'd ever come. Now, you're no doubt wondering why Jeremy was abruptly blacklisted by Wizards of the Coast. The story that Jeremy tells is that earlier that June, when the transgender bathroom debate shit was a big topic of discussion in the news for some reason, Jeremy, in reference to it, just made a little joke about how planeswalkers wouldn't need bathrooms because they could just piss into the ether.
It all started with a series of tweets, I think. This is how I remember it. This is like a year ago. LSV retweeted Gabby, and they were basically whining about bad comments. So I chime in by saying, hey, comments are just that. Internet comments are even less important. Let's not be so thin-skinned. Later, the next day, I believe, this was like right around when the Charlotte bathroom thing was going on about trans people not having trans bathrooms or something like that. In their opinion, in a lot of people's opinions, I make a transphobic joke by saying, another content creator responds and says, I identify as a planeswalker and demand my own bathroom. A clear joke. So I replied, send your urine into the aether.
What?
According to Jeremy, this innocuous joke was taken very serial by Wizards of the Coast, who had been bitten by the progressive bug, so they immediately put him on their shit list from this moment forward. That's the story Jeremy tells. It's not true. The actual reason Jeremy got blacklisted by Wizards of the Coast was because he had been constantly starting shit with other members of the community all year long. See, there are two wolves inside of Jeremy Hambly. One is a greedy, attention-seeking, jaundice-filled fat nigga. The
Whoa, language. And welcome, Silverio. Happy New Year.
Hey now, hey now.
Sorry, I had to clear my throat there. Unlike some other content creators, actually mute the microphone when I have to clear it.
other wolf is also all of those things, but he also has a drinking problem too. And because he has a drinking problem, he's worse at hiding all those nasty traits the first wolf inside of Jeremy keeps just barely under the surface. A lot of you are probably familiar.
I've actually never really heard of that, the loser ring. I mean, it is a good one. I've always just heard the main one was Quarter Pounder. Oh, I love the hanging Yeti microphone. Like, that's how you're supposed to use the Yetis, not for fucking voice communications in a game. I mean, can you? Yeah, sure. Just like I can use the stereo in my car to listen to all my CDs. Like, can I use it for that? Yeah. But if I really wanted to use my CDs properly, I would use any of the other things that I have. Although, to be fair, how many CD players do I own? I think I own maybe one. Because I'm not sure. Well, I guess the Xbox can still play. Actually, no, I take that back. I own technically two. But the majority of them are like game or computer things. Point is that you shouldn't be using a Yeti exclusively for voice communications. It's like way overblown for the job.
Familiar with Jeremy's Twitter addiction. Boy's got one of the nastiest cases of Twitter fingers I've ever seen. Shit's terminal. And he also has a bad habit of saying things he wouldn't say otherwise, especially when he starts pulling up. Combine this with the fact that Jeremy has been paying attention to a lot of the goings-on in the anti-SJW realms of YouTube and social media at this point, and that he was starting to look for his own SJW dragons to slay, and you end up with a series of tweets where he's constantly squatting on other members of the community, like Anthony from the Mana Source and Kate Donnelly from Hipsters of the Coast, bragging when they eventually block him for constantly tagging them just to insult them, all while reusing Kekistan and other 4chan memes he just copied from the other anti-SJW posters he was following. He also made tweets like these, posting pictures of his guns while mentioning the Milwaukee protest at the same time. Now, some of you would say, well, Mikey, it's not a crime. So long as he wasn't threatening anyone with his firearms or threatening to bring them to an event, it really wasn't the rest of the community's business. I agree, but it's really not a good look to make those types of tweets when you're already already building a big reputation for being an abrasive alcoholic asshole. So no, Jeremy wasn't just a good boy who wasn't doing nothing but making a couple jokes at a few SJWs' expense. He had gradually started to become a pariah because he couldn't behave himself. The Game Finder failure, where he basically set 30K from other Magic players on fire, didn't help his rep either. But the most notorious example of Jeremy just being a cunt was a video he made called Playset of Beta White Knights Prevent Rape of MTG Cosplayer at Sea Sprinkle Run.
Wait, what? Let's read that again. Playset of Beta White Knights Prevent Rape of MTG Cosplayer.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Okay.
White Knights Prevent Rape of MTG Cosplayer at Sea Sprinkle Run. In this video, Jeremy would rant about how Magic the Gathering cosplayer Christine Sprinkle didn't like a certain horned up comment she received.
Okay, so it was drawn to my attention, or brought to my attention, that there was like literal rape happening in the Magic the Gathering community. Serial virtue signaler and crying for Patreon dollars cosplayer.
What?
See a Sprinkle Run posted yesterday. Allow messages to my Facebook page again. Question my life choices immediately. Hey, I mean, if a guy tells me that he came and looked at my pictures and it gave him an erection, like, I'm like, sweet, you know?
What?
I appreciate giving you boners.
Jeremy was furious about this. Well, for one, Jeremy had a weird vendetta against female Magic cosplayers in general, but Christine especially triggered him because of how much love she got from the community compared to him.
Let's see
welcome, Brian. Happy New Year.
Hey now.
the Magic the Gathering community. 107 likes, which is a lot for Magic YouTuber or Magic personality.
They literally called her the godmother of Magic cosplay. She even got a video on the official Magic the Gathering channel dedicated to her. This wasn't some random e-thought trying to grift off nerds from a community she wasn't part of. She had been attending tournaments and engaging with the community for years. But Jeremy could see the thought that everybody else was blind to. What really pissed him off were the dudes white knighting for her in the comments.
Tim Wright, jeez, it's not like there are any plenty choices online for cosplay perving. Why can't they leave the pros alone? Obviously, Sprinkle is a pro cosplayer. You know she's a professional cosplayer by the fact that she has to solicit Patreon dollars and then cry in her Patreon video to get loser beta cucks to give her money.
Now even
What?
Good Lord. Project much there, pal?
back then, it was really rich for Jeremy to poke at somebody else for soliciting Patreon bucks and crying to their audience for money because he had literally done the same thing a year earlier.
4 years ago, on February 2nd, 2012, I uploaded my first MTG video on YouTube.
What, on Groundhog Day?
4 years later, more than 4 years later, and 820 more videos, I'm still here, producing content with the same dream of being able to do this as at least a part-time job. For the past year, I've been running myself ragged, trying to run a business as well as YouTube full-time. And while it's been worth every long night, it's unlikely I can continue this pace much longer. I'm just so tired all the time. Now, I wish I'd done a lot of things
tired all the time. It's like, well, then pick one. Like, admittedly, I'm kind of upset at myself. Well, no, I'm very upset at myself that I haven't been able to follow through on some of my YouTube projects. I have like 3 in the works, and I just haven't been able to get things going with them. I mean, they're almost done. 2 of them are like over 75% done. It's just a case of like the final thing of it. All the prep work is done. Just have to go and do it. But the actual do it part is like the meat and potatoes of it, and that's the one that's going to take the most work. And I've just had so many other things going on that just makes I'm going to try to get something done this weekend, but we'll see. The point is, though, is like, well, like, you shouldn't be begging your audience for it. You just got to put your, head to the grindstone, whatever the term is. I know I have that wrong.
I wish I was friendlier with other Magic YouTube channels. I wish YouTube ad revenue
Well, whose fault is that?
wasn't less now than it was a year ago. Now, you may have heard of me talk about my Patreon for several months now. The truth is, the support I'm receiving on my Patreon is literally the only reason I can spend the amount of time I do now on these YouTube videos. I feel like we've achieved adequate corporate sponsorship. In fact, I would say I'm probably spending too much time on sponsored type videos. It's a necessary evil as things are now to help fund all the awesome things that I want to do.
Could you imagine saying that, referring to your sponsored videos as necessary evils? Like, if I was someone who's looking to get sponsorship deals with YouTubers and I see someone referred to sponsored videos as necessary evils, yeah, I'm not going to do business with you. Because you're already, like, pushing this negative narrative on your audience. Look at all them fat packs. Yeah. Welcome. Happy New Year, Master.
Hey now.
Whoopsies. I hit 0 and it fucked it up. Sorry, give me a sec. Fuck were we?
Differently. I wish I was friendlier with other Magic YouTube channels. I wish YouTube ad revenue wasn't less now than it was a year.
Yeah, I know next to nothing about, the only phrase, I know nothing about Magic the Gathering. But yeah, I'm assuming these are massive stacks of cards on
These YouTube videos
around him.
I feel like we've achieved adequate corporate all the awesome things that I want to do. You backing even $1 or $2 goes so much further than YouTube ad revenue ever could.
He was just green with envy here. My favorite part was when he started going through Christine's cosplay pictures and showing how much of a thirsty gooner he was by admitting that her PG safe for work ass cosplays made him stupid.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry,
What?
Sprinkle. Let's look at your cosplay, your art, where some poor 14-year-old kid was unfortunately made an erection comment about you, and fuck him for being such a degenerate. I mean, what is sexual about this? Nothing, right? Oh no, totally nothing sexual about this. Oh yeah, here you go, Sprinkle. Another totally non-sexual picture where the Pokeball happens to be right on your fucking bush. Oh, here you go.
What?
What? Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Basically a bra. Yep, nope, nothing hot about that. Here we go again. More, basically 75% nude. Nothing sexual there. Nothing sexual at all about this Chandra. Like, nothing
Good lord.
sexual at all. Oh yeah, look at him.
I mean, like,
Bodysuit. Yeah, I'm not gonna sexualize you. I mean, fuck me if I'm gonna say that I wish there was a little slot down here, for me to, for us to
What?
good lord.
pleasure each other.
Maybe should have rubbed one out before you made this video, Jeremy. Anyway, this video would end up getting deleted a short time later, but it quickly gained infamy and further bruised Jeremy's already black and blue reputation in the community. What with all the doo-doo flinging he liked to do, and also
What's
the
with
whole
this, like, okay, so it's kind of hard to say. Give me a sec. Why is there like a heart? Sorry, why is there like a heart locket right here?
finder fly
Hanging off of his microphone. Like, what is that?
that completely wasted a lot of people's money. There were 3 reasons why Jeremy made this video. Envy that Christine Sprinkle made more on Patreon and was more popular than him despite not being an elite player, or in Jeremy's eyes, not putting as much work into her content as he did, which is
Well, hold on though. Bro, why do you have your fucking earphones like that? Like, you should only have it that way if you're like in a busy area or you need to be listening around you. Are you not focused on the interview? Why do you need to have that fucked up setup there? Do you ever guide, or does he have it? I don't think so.
An elite player, or in Jeremy's eyes, not putting as much work into her content as he did, which has literally always been slop. 2, Jeremy, despite being a married man, has always had a pattern of weird interactions with women on the internet for years,
Love the
especially
cat
with
tail.
women he obviously finds attractive. And 3, the alcohol was just making Jeremy act unwise. So yeah, all of this were the actual reasons Jeremy got blackballed. Wizards of the Coast wasn't expecting the Netbeards. They gave promo material to be the most professional guys around, but they at least expected them to not chimp out at other people in the community regularly or make videos called Beta White Knights Prevent Rape of MTG Cosplayer, where they literally added the Twitter handle of the cosplayer whose figurative rape they were talking about. Eventually, Christine announced her retirement that November so she could focus on med school instead. She was hanging up the jersey, and she explicitly named Jeremy as the reason for why she got sick of it all and left. His obnoxiousness and drunken tirades were just too much that not even the Patreon bucks made it worth the hassle anymore. Now, was Christine being a bit histrionic here? Of course she was, but the general sentiment was shared among a lot of other people, and her abrupt departure caused a real stir. Jeremy would respond by saying he hadn't harassed anyone, which is someone who doesn't think just sending mean words to other people over the internet automatically counts as harassing them. I would feel he would have been in the right to say. Had he also not tried to play victim and say that he was the one actually getting harassed?
This is the type of video I would normally do on my quartering channel, but I'm going to put it here on Unsleeved Media because I'm not going anywhere. I'm currently under basically a full-scale assault from people who have been misled or have been waiting for a moment to try and, quote, get rid of me. So yesterday or the day before, well-known grifter and cosplayer Sprankle decided to tweet out that she was quitting Magic. Then we see literally every major creator out there completely unself-aware, talking about me being some kind of serial harasser because I made a video 6 months ago and one tweet like 2 months ago saying I didn't care that.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that everything he's saying right now is not true, and Mikey's going to prove that's not true.
That she was going to be at a GP or something. You are sicking a hate mob on me. You know that's what you're doing, and you're trying to play the victim while doing it. These people are so disconnected from reality. They legitimately think they're not doing exactly what they're accusing me of doing.
When it happens to somebody else, it's just a bit of banter and trolling. When it happens to him, it's genuine harassment. Sure, okay, bro. Again, This wasn't Jeremy acting bizarrely out of character. It was an easily observable pattern of behavior. Of him asking for money from the community, then wasting it on a terribly executed business scheme, then starting drama that had nothing to do with Magic itself with other people in the community, and now there were members of the community that people actually liked that were saying they were leaving because Jeremy wouldn't stop painting the walls with feces. The permaban that Jeremy received that December from all sanctioned Magic events might have been harsh, but it was after a year of him basically antagonizing and pissing off numerous influential people in the community and also just making a general ass out of himself. The ban didn't prevent him from going to non-official events or visiting card shops or anything like that, but did essentially mean that any chance of Jeremy's Magic the Gathering channel ever becoming anything more than a hobby after 5 years of making hundreds of videos was basically dead in the water. It was the end of Unsleeved. But it wasn't the end for Jeremy himself though. Nah, this was just the beginning. Because earlier that year, during the summer, Jeremy had rebranded his other Magic the Gathering YouTube channel to just The Quartering.
Definitely an interesting day for me. So as you know, I'm kind of going through a transition on my main channel, which is specifically about Magic the Gathering. And my second channel, which is now currently called Unsleeved After Dark because it's Unsleeved Media is my main channel, but I'm going to change it. I think I'm changing it to The Quartering this weekend.
Originally, The Quartering was going...
Who's that? Is that supposed to be his wife? Like, I don't think it's a good idea to... I mean, I'm not saying you have any issue with, like, filming something in your house, but maybe hide or cover up the photos. I mean, that's just me.
but I'm going to change it. I think I'm changing it to the quartering this weekend.
Originally, the quartering was going to be the sideshow channel, where Jeremy would get to vent about things that either had little to do or nothing to do with Magic the Gathering. But this channel would go on to be his most successful YouTube endeavor by far, while also somehow getting him in way more internet drama.
Oh God, here we go.
The quartering had already started to become Jeremy's main priority even
Oh
before
God,
his
he drinks Miller High Life. Ugh. In case I needed another reason to stop drinking. I mean, I love myself some Miller High Life, but I mean, I'll be the first to admit it's a cheap ass beer, although it is the champagne of beers.
TG band. By late 2017, he could already tell how the winds were blowing. So he started maneuvering appropriately, and I gotta hand it to him. He made some smart moves, broadening the topics he talked about from just Magic to general geek culture, the news, and politics, encouraging his audience on his Unsleeved Media channel to migrate to the quartering and monetizing it.
Yeah, what are all these things hanging on here? Now there's two little heart things, like a keychain. It looks almost like dog collars or something, or like something you would put like around. Hold on, am I blocking? I am a little bit. Give me a sec here. Yeah, look at these.
His channel.
Like they look like pet collars. Am I wrong? Or like maybe like keychains. No, they look more like dog collars, the way that the thing is on them. I don't know. I think it's just my ADHD running rampant. God, I hope not. By the way, great fucking freeze right here.
Early by shilling Patreon, Subscribestar, and securing several sponsorship deals, keeping those income streams healthy and diverse from the jump. The early growth of the quartering channel was a rare example of him putting that masters in internet marketing of his to good use. Granted, Jeremy had made like 10 other fucking YouTube channels at this point, so really you could just say it was the law of averages finally working out in his favor. Another move that the quartering made in late 2017 and early 2018.
Yeah, maybe. But would you hang them on the side of your microphone that you used to broadcast with? Like, I feel like that would be something you would put like at some sort of a memorial, or that like if my, or I not if I mean, unfortunately, eventually, beautiful Lily will pass on, but I could never see myself like taking the collar and then putting it like on part of my equipment. I could definitely see putting it somewhere, like hanging it up or putting it in some sort of a in memoriam sort of thing. Just hanging it off of some equipment that I use for work seems a little off to me. But I mean, whatever. I guess everyone mourns in their own ways.
2018 that would really affect the trajectory of his career going forward was getting associated with several anti-SJW YouTubers in their communities.
Such
like
as?
Nerdrotic and Friday Night Tights, Ethan Van Sciver and Cometscape, and
Never heard
Sargon of Akkad and the Skeptics. Sargon,
I remember
aka
them.
Carl Benjamin's clique, would be one quartering would become especially tight with. And I mean, he would become really tight with Sargon.
Coach Red Pill asked me,
goody.
keep sucking on Sargon's dick, boy. V says that Sargon's cum tastes awfully good. So does it. And sure enough, I found a little website where I could purchase Sargon of Akkad semen.
What?
Probably my invoice here. Let's see. Oh, look at that. That's nice. Little letterhead. Comes in a nice little vial. This is a lot.
What?
Here goes nothing.
Why make this? I mean, obviously it's not his cum, but why even make a video? And sorry, there's an ad about to come on Twitch. But God, why make a video of you drinking cum, even if it's fake? Like, what are you, jackass? Well, you are a jackass, but you know what I mean.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I don't know.
Hambly was really gonna need these connections because he was burning through whatever was left of the bridge between him and the Magic community to the ground with his Scorched Earth campaign against Wizards of the Coast, specifically against their judges. Jeremy's a guy who definitely holds a grudge, and he was left seething after they banned him. Not only because they cut him out of his Magic the Gathering tuber ambitions, but they locked bro out of his Magic the Gathering online account too.
But what
Although I do have to say, that feels like an overstretch of power, unless I'm not understanding how the behind the scenes of all that works. To where you can't even log on to like an online account.
I wanted to talk about was really digital goods, specifically Magic the Gathering Online, because as you might know, my collection was stolen by Wizards of the Coast.
All that money he spent on boosters lost to the Shadow Realm forever. Honestly, being locked out of playing a gacha game, which Magic the Gathering Online and Arena 1000% are, will always be a blessing in disguise. But for quartering, it was just...
Wait, hold on. Bammy boards. So there's... What are these? Are these just like different gacha games? Because I recognize some of this stuff from Genshin, but I have no idea what some of these other ones are.
Honestly, being locked out of playing a gacha game, which Magic the Gathering Online and Arena 1000% are, will always be a blessing in disguise. But for quartering, it was just one of the many heinous offenses committed against him by Wizards of the Coast. But Jeremy was about to get his get back by exposing Wizards of the Coast for harboring pedophiles. It had been brought to Jeremy's attention that Wizards of the Coast had been lacking when it came to their background checks, and there was now a cabal of pedos working for him. Quartering went to gather in a dossier of sorts of this Diddy the Gathering he had found out about and dropped it all on their heads. And how many did he find? One.
We start with Ross Prajzner.
There was
what?
literally one guy.
We start with...
It's... Okay. Hold on, let's see. I got a pro point in Magic. Yeah, like I said, I've never played. I can never get into those games. I don't have anything against people who are into Magic or these CCGs. They're just not for me. Well, good, that we're not... Jesus. Look at all this shit. Past events, offense. Let me see. Dissemination of photos, videotapes, computer depiction of film of CP. Offense, possession of CP. Good lord. Celebrated 5-year anniversary as the judge. Removed from judge website after I exposed him.
Ross Prajzner.
There was literally one guy, Ross Prajzner, who was convicted of distributing CP in 2014, but continued being an active judge because Wizards failed to do a proper background check on him. He was the only one of the subhumans Jeremy would list who continued affiliating with Magic tournaments after they were caught. It's not that these guys didn't do what they did, it's that they didn't actually judge at Magic tournaments in any official capacity after they did what they did. They just had their names on some lists that had yet to remove them, and Jeremy acted like they were still working with Wizards anyway. Now, a lot of you would go, well, Mikey, you gotta give Jeremy some credit. Just exposing one pedo makes this short crusade of his worth it. And I would agree with that. However, acting like Magic had a cabal of pedos running the show was the quartering being extra. Even after his in-depth grudge-fueled investigation, he only found the one guy who slipped through the cracks. And I'm sorry, but literally every institution of a certain size occasionally has sexual deviance pop up in them. Also, this was completely performative outrage from Jeremy to get back at Wizards of the Coast for banning him and stealing his gacha pools on Magic the Gathering Online. He did not actually care. I know he didn't, because when he got to one of the dudes in the video, Luke Flora, who was arrested for sleeping with a student of his, he said this.
Now, this next person is a little... I was unsure about putting this person on there, but the point of the matter is this person is technically a convicted of a sex act. He now works for Star City Games. He's a former teacher. Imagine my shock. Convicted of sex with a student.
I mean, former teacher. Imagine my shock. What, like teachers or have a big cabal of pedophiles?
Felony counts of sex with a student. He is the in-store programs manager at Star City Games, as far as I can tell. Now, the reason this one's a little dicier, I mean, is because the student was 17, but that really, you can't make any excuses for that.
There's also this clip, one of the only remaining remnants of Jeremy's Be Your Own IT videos, where he offered people with peculiar material on their PCs some advice.
It's more of a public service announcement than anything else.
Oh, God.
At the office this week, we had a situation where one of the techs came across some pictures on a customer's computer that were of the...
What is all this? This couldn't have been from back in the day. I guess he must have watched it on a stream or something.
Child pornography variety. I don't really know if there's any tack way to put that. But the customer was reported and subsequently arrested, I believe, is last that I heard. So if you have things that you don't want computer techs to see, you should delete them. Maybe change the folder name when you take it in if you can, or,
Change the folder name. Change it to not child pornography. Oh, what's in there? Well, not child pornography. Well, I don't care. We don't need to worry about that. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm not condoning it. I don't think it's necessarily right. I believe it's an invasion of privacy. So if you have these sorts of things, remember that
It's an invasion of privacy.
Your techs do look at other things on your computer. People look around on it, and
I mean, like, I have 2 computers that I want to bring in to be recycled. They're old ass computers. One has Windows XP. Well, had Windows XP. And the other one, I think, had Windows 7. I'm having some issues because the fucking screen doesn't work anymore. And I even tried buying an external cord, and that doesn't work either. So I literally might just take a fucking hammer to the hard drive and just beat it down. But the other one that I have, where the screen worked fine, I went and I ran, I think it's called, what is it called? I forget what it's called, but essentially you can go and it does like the super formatting of the hard drives where it deletes everything and then just writes garbage data onto it, basically making everything that was there before unrecoverable. Not because I have anything to hide. It's really just because I know people go and look around on computers, and we looked through and everything, it looked like there was nothing bad or sensitive, but our thing was, why bother looking? Or, like, you know what I mean? Or why have to worry about anyone doing that? I'll get to your sec there, FPM. But because I remember also years ago, I got an Android tablet. I had a Motorola Zoom. I think it was XOOM. But anyways, it was Motorola's tablet. It was an Android tablet. And it was okay, but I decided I don't want this. So I returned it to Costco. That's where I got it from. But I didn't want it, so I decided to return it to them. But before I returned it, I did a factory reset it, and then sent it back to them or returned it, whatever. And then like a couple of months later, there was like this news story of all these people who are buying these refurbished or reconditioned Zooms, and they had all this data still on them. Like they would like boot it up and it would have the previous account owner's stuff on it. Then people were like, what the hell? I thought this was like new, or this was like clean or whatever. And then there was issues because there was obviously some bad actors who would be like, oh, I now have access to John Smith's Gmail and all of his other crap. I'm going to go and, fuck around with this. And it just goes to show, like, it doesn't matter if they say, oh, we'll delete everything, just return it. No, always clean your shit out before you send it to anyone. Because what he's saying is true. People will look at your shit. There's a good chance they will anyways. So Jizz is giving advice for edophiles to hide their CP. Kind of, Ackman. Welcome, Ackman and Funny.
Hey now.
You should make it real easy for people to find things.
And now you understand why all those Be Your Own IT videos are gone. Wizards of the Coast would implement a stronger background checks policy, but they had no real way of implementing it at a wide scale, so it really didn't change anything. It was just an announcement they made for optics' sake. But whatever, a W is a W, and we gotta
Big
give
W.
this W to the quartering. In his eyes and in the eyes of his fans, he has slayed his dragon. He also got the opportunity to reopen his Magic the Gathering online account so he could sell his collection there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know him from, like, I only know some of the few things I've seen and people posting stuff, and I know Kino Casino has been going really hard on him lately. I'm way behind. Like last I saw, there was some convention that they were going to, like AmFest, America First Fest or something like that. But do you think you can beat this guy? Well, it all depends on who the booker decides to put over. So
What?
I mean, in terms of an actual fight, like if he just like showed up at my door right now and then someone said like, okay, you do have to fight now, I'd probably be fucked because I'm not much of a fighter. But if it was like, okay, we're going to book a fight 9 months down the road, get your shit together and go and fight. Yeah, I think I'd probably take him.
And get some money back, which, let's be real, is probably what he cared about way more than exposing some pedophiles. Now, with all this Magic the Gathering community bullshit out of the way, he could give most of his attention to what would be his main channel going onward, the quartering. And by mid-2018, the quartering had
Showed up here with flowers of chocolate for your wall. Yeah, I guess. But then again, I would be like, bro, why not give these to your own wife? Like, I don't even know what the deal is. I wonder if this guy's going to cover, like, Mrs. Quartering at all. Because that's just fucking a whole other weird thing.
Had mastered his new main channel's formula. Daily uploads of topical content that was well-researched in its formula. Daily uploads of
Mama Kun issues... Or issues new, even worse. Jake Paul style. SJW's losing their minds, searching creepy thoughts. Tommy, I have no who that is. Hot ones are problematic for women, obviously. Huh?
What?
topical content that was
the women problem in Magic the Gathering. D&D creators claims women are too stupid. Head of R&D. Police level 9,000 stuff in case.
well researched and that
Sargon of Akkad ruined my life. Oh god, he made a video of the fucking triggered meme on it.
he peppered with his own
Jimmy Kimmel's a garbage human. People are losing their minds over new Trump 2020 ad. Polygon is trash. Well, I mean, well, you really went on a limb there, Jeremy. I mean, I think it's a fine publication, but there's, you know, it's an easy target, is my point. Trying to silence me. The truth comes out.
He recorded himself reading the news. He would find a handful of news stories and read them on camera slowly, because the motherfucker could barely read despite wearing glasses and having a master's degree. And this would be the Quartering's content
He has a
format
master's degree in what? Grifting?
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
the better part of the next decade. It was nothing revolutionary or even particularly hard to do, hence why people like Review Tech USA have also made careers out of it. What Jeremy did have over everyone else, though, was his relentless output. This man is a slop factory, filling your subscription and recommended feeds with slop on top of slop on top of slop. Just a one-man chum bucket.
Slop
Quartering
top.
isn't just a slop tuber, he's a grand master of the art of slop tubing. This content mass production model of his would rack up tens of millions of views, tons of subs, and a massive bag over the years. But just like with Review Tech USA, getting paid to read articles other people wrote for a living wasn't enough. No, he had to get in some YouTube drama as well. And
Oh,
he
goody.
would choose literally the worst people to throw digital hands with. Dudes from the sector in internet blood sports community.
Oh no.
Now, initially, the little spats he got into, like the one with the late and great Gonzalo Lira, aka Coach Red Pill, didn't really go anywhere. Quartering, by this point, was bigger than the majority of guys in both the skeptic community and internet blood sports scene.
If you see how fat he is, he's bigger than most people in any community.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
And he had nothing to gain and no real reason to go to war with any of them. That was until Sargon and the sector started feuding. See, around 20...
He's actually a cool guy talking Facebook. He would just watch all the reels I sent to him. Maybe I'm just annoying. Yeah, I mean, I don't know him personally, but just the little bits that I have seen about him, you know, don't really paint him in the most positive of lights. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely something a bit off about him. He has to have a drinking problem.
2017 to 2018, cracks had begun to form in anti-SJW spaces, especially in and around the skeptic sphere. I'm not going to regale you guys with the whole history of the skeptic
sub,
community.
Kevin.
That's a video for another day. But things were starting to fizzle come 2018, at least in the sense that the
Hope you're
OG
enjoying
format was starting to stagnate a little bit. Also, the battles between guys from the dissident right and certain skeptics like Kraut and T and Sargon were starting to overtake the community as a
Have
whole.
him or Wings
Sargon's
is my best man. Good lord. Ugh. Maybe him, just because if it got out that I had, like, it would have to, okay, if no one knew about it, I'd pick Wings. If everyone knew about it, I would pick Quartering.
Personality
if that makes any
in
sense.
general was starting to overtake the community as a whole. There was a Godfather meme about Don Sargon ruling the skeptic sphere like a Machiavellian tyrant. And there was a bit of truth to it. He would also just start casually lying about certain things around this time. Like the incident that would get Jeremy in his first battle with Mr. Medicare, where Sargon lied about something Andy Worski, fellow skeptic at the time, had said. Worski, who wasn't a fan of having his name dragged through the internet streets, would expose some private details to prove Sargon was talking out the side of his mouth and essentially put him on the spot. In Quartering, one of the top capos and glazers of Don Sargon.
I just watched one of the docs on Worski. I feel like I need to watch another one. Not necessarily for a more clear picture, but it was so old. Like, I'm curious what, like, it kind of just, like it said, it chronicled his downfall, but I didn't really see much of one. And I know quite a bit has happened. I mean, obviously now he's back and is doing all that Kino Casino stuff. But I guess, like, I'm still kind of missing what happened between, I guess, 2020 and 2023. Like, the time between, like, his downfall and then his rise again. Like, all the stuff I've seen has just been the downfall. But there's obviously been a, you know, rise again. He would need a forklift, get Wings out of his car. Well, I think he said he's like 440 again, which they said was like 5 pounds off of his surgery weight. So after all these years, he only lost 5 pounds. Something along those lines.
Would call Worski out for daring to defend himself and not just take it. This led to him confronting both Worski and Medicare on Takasa's Kumite in February of 2018.
Oh, I remember
noticed
reading
people
about
like you
that.
like to use the we language a lot. Like, oh, we and us and stuff. You're not a part of this shit. You're not hosting blood sports. Who cares what your fucking input is? I also thought a lot of the other things you said in your video were fucking dumb, too. I mean, you went on about the, it was wrong for Andy to show Skype messages from Sargon. Why?
It is fucking wrong.
Why? Should he be a bitch? Should he be a bitch and let somebody lie about him and be a
This whole thing is a semantic argument, right? It's the same thing where you said, oh, it's a debate. I wanted to have a conversation. Well, it's supposed to be a debate.
No, the quartering. He said he never told me he wanted to speak to Spencer. That's not semantics. That's a straight out lie, right?
Look, we're not going to agree here, and that's fine. My point is just that you could have come on and said, look, Sargon, this is what you said. You didn't need to expose it.
I could have done a lot of things.
The problem Jeremy was having here with Warski.
Wait, hold on.
Look, we're not going to agree here, and that's fine. My point.
Like, I almost wonder if it was intentional that they made it so you couldn't see the chat window on the right side here. Because I've seen some of these videos when I watched the Warski doc, and good lord, there was a bunch of stuff there that you put this in Twitch, YouTube, whatever, you're not going to have an account for very long,
It's just that
let alone even stay in the room.
you could have come on and said, look, Sargon, this is what you said. You didn't need to expose it.
I could have done a lot of things.
The problem Jeremy was having here with Warski is that Warski actually cared about people thinking he was a liar or somebody who just makes shit up. Jeremy couldn't understand this because Jeremy doesn't care about people thinking he's dishonest, talks out the side of his mouth, or is just pulling stuff out of his cheeks. He just wants to make money and will literally just lie about shit to get ahead or get out of a jam. A great example would be his drama with Matt Loader that same year. A dude in a dress. And no, I'm not being Rainbow Tribe phobic. Settle down. Matt Loader is just a guy who likes to cross-dress. Literally a dude in a dress. Now this dress-wearing fellow would end up assaulting Jeremy while
I was about to say, is this the trans that beat him up?
On a trip to Gen Con in August of that year in Indianapolis.
Oh, that's who it was?
It was like 1:30. And somebody walked up behind me and said, hey, is your name Jeremy? And he would have been probably the 25th person to do that tonight. So I turned around, I said, yeah, and I stuck my hand out, and he immediately started punching me.
According to Quartering, who would also shortly after open up a crowdfunding campaign for legal fees so he could sue this blouse-wearing bastard, Matt Loader was a deranged leftist who assaulted him for politically motivated reasons. That is a lie. It was actually because the Quartering had called Matt Loader a pedophile with literally no evidence. This was only a few months after Jeremy's anti-pedo crusade, just to show you how seriously Jeremy takes this subject. Anyway, Matt Loader didn't appreciate that, so he pulled up to Jeremy at a bar outside of Gen Con and pieced him up. Not condoning this alleged two-piece and a biscuit combo, Loader served Jeremy, just making it clear that Loader wasn't there to bash a fash. This was a classic I heard you was talking shit type confrontation. Apparently the bar was also damaged.
Yeah, so I guess it is the assault story. Well, it's really the battery story. Assault is, if my understanding is proper, assault means like you try to attack someone. Battery is you actually hit them. Let me just see here. Yeah. Assault involves the threat or attempt to cause harmful or offensive contact, creating a reasonable apprehension of imminent harm to the victim. Oh, thank you very much for the follow on Twitch, Kevin. Let me just check something here. Sorry about that. It says, while battery requires actual contact that is harmful, offensive without the victim's consent. Although terms are often used interchangeably, especially when criminal law managers has maintained legal distinction between the two. Yeah, so yeah, assault is this, battery is that, assuming you actually hit them. I had no idea this is what the person looked like. Like, I just heard that someone trans beat him up, but I had no, I had no idea what they look like. I mean, someone like that, like, I think he was weak man for not being able to handle being called a slur. I got called that many times. Well, hold on, let's go back to what the
classic
tweet
loader
was.
in peace. Appreciate that. So seriously,
nothing like slandering a man with no evidence at all. Let me try this. Someone once told me that Meth did some horrible things with young boys. He should pay for what he did. Listen and believe me. I mean, I don't know. Being called a pedophile on the internet and presenting no evidence, yeah, I would be pretty pissed too.
Jeremy, take me a 2-piece and a biscuit combo. Loader served Jeremy, just making it clear that Loader wasn't there to bash a fash. This was a classic "I heard you was talking shit" type confrontation. Apparently, the bar was also damaged in the fight, and cops had to show up and send both parties home.
This is the window he punched in after not being able to continue to punch me.
Now, some of you might ask, but Mikey, if Jeremy was really assaulted, why would he sue Matt Loader instead of press charges against him?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, why didn't the cops just arrest Loader right there after he had assaulted somebody and damaged the establishment's property in the scuffle? Oh, that's because it's an obvious lie, dude. I mean, he already lies from the get-go about not knowing who Loader was, and also about Loader attacking him for culture war reasons when it was really about him calling bro a pedo with no evidence. He even lied about filing a police report. Quartering's retelling of events simply do not make sense and are very likely heavily embellished, if not simply made the fuck up. Which is probably why he would end up settling for a video apology from Matt Loader in May of next year rather than continue the suit.
Hi, this is Matt Loader. Some of you know me as Matt Fantastic. Just prior to Gen Con 2018,
but would you hit someone? Like, I probably wouldn't do what he did and, like, seek them out and hit them. You know what I mean? Mainly because I would be afraid of being thrown in jail. But, like, if someone or this person had publicly called me that and then they came up to me and continued with that sort of rhetoric, then yeah, I probably would say or do something, but I probably would not be the one initiating it because I'm not willing to go and have a criminal record for some, like, if I'm going to have something on my record, I'm going to make it worth it, or have it be to a case of like, okay, I had to do this, as opposed to like just, you know, doing something really stupid.
let my anger get the best of me and physically confronted Jeremy Hambly outside a bar in Indianapolis over statements he made about me previously. I unequivocally take responsibility for my actions that evening, which were wrong, and apologize to Jeremy for my thoughtless conduct.
Jeremy Hambly is one of the most unreliable narrators on YouTube. He is a fundamentally dishonest and disingenuous fat nigga. As would be proven in his follow-up bout with Medicare in October of 2018, where he would put the gloves on for.
That's funny. I just like how I love when YouTube doesn't know what they're actually saying. Instead of Medicare, having issues with Medicare.
His E-daddy Carl Benjamin once again. In January of 2018, just a month before Quartering was on the Kumite with Andy and Medicare.
God, we're not even an hour into this, and I've been live for quite a bit here.
Sargon took the first major step in his quest to save the West with his liberalist movement. Many dudes from the sector would poke fun at Sargon and his liberalists, saying they were cringe and taking this internet shit way too
welcome, Aaron. Happy New Year,
Sargon,
indeed.
who had political ambitions that let his already big-ass head get too big for his own good, and that the IRL theater of national politics was a whole different ballgame than just making fun of some blue-haired SJWs online. His October 2018 kill.
Mine wasn't bad. I won a match in Fortnite, got laid, and went to bed at 11.
Stream appearance in particular would be the breaking point. And the Quartering threw his lot in 100% with his boy Sargon. Not only because he viewed Sargon as a friend, and that quite a bit of his channel's exceptional growth in late 2017 and early 2018 was owed to Dawn Sargon's blessing and the Quartering strategically cross-pollinating with the Skeptic's audiences, but also Jeremy really did glaze Sargon to death and viewed him as his main E-daddy back in the day. So,
Mikey, little YouTuber pro tip here. Do not, I repeat, do not under any circumstances use WWE owned footage in your videos unless it is heavily edited. Like, just don't do it because they are crazy with that shit. They will claim and just say fuck you. They will claim or block you with like no consideration for whether or not it actually applies as fair use or whatever. You know, they're just, their content ID system is on like overdrive. I've had numerous videos blocked, taken down, or whatever from WWE. I mean, even what's his name? June the King, his original DSP doc had to be taken down because he used like 8 seconds of WWE footage. And then my react video to the first part of said video was blocked worldwide by WWE. His thing was just claimed. Mine was blocked off of that short, like 8 seconds. They flat out fucking blocked me. Or blocked the video.
In Sargon's honor, and also because he was envious of Jim's popularity, just like he was envious of Christine Sprinkles, Quartering was gonna bring the heat. And he did it in a very bitch-made way. See, this was around the time when YouTube started to go harder against edgy content. A lot of the dissident right guys had already been purged, and even edgy, apolitical content was getting shut down, including internet blood sports guys. So one day, Jeremy, out of nowhere, and in the midst of the big liberalist sector feud, starts telling Medicare to come outside. Come debate me, Jim. You know you won't, pussy. Oh, but it has to be on your stream, not mine. And why was Jeremy so adamant about it being on Medicare's stream? Because you could get deplatformed just by having people send spicy super chats to you. And dude, wouldn't it be so funny if dozens of guys with names like I love Adolf 1488 started filling your chat with $1 donos about how much the Holocaust was based and, you know, just get your shit shut down? Bro, that'd be hilarious. Yeah, Jim didn't take the bait. But you know a guy who Quartering was yapping at the same time who did take the bait? Keemstar. For some reason, Quartering was perfectly fine with letting Keem on his program. Probably because he didn't have gay ops in store for him.
Keem doesn't need to host me on his channel. He's plenty big. I'm welcome. I'm happy to invite him onto mine.
Also, it just randomly keeps saying music in brackets, like mid-sentence. Like, I mean, look at this.
He's plenty big. I'm welcome. I'm happy to invite him.
It's not even like there was a big gap in the speech.
Fine. Jim, on the other hand, is a coward who is afraid of his own super chats.
Letting Keemstar on would be a big mistake for 2 reasons.
Oh,
One,
I bet.
Jeremy was a little too tipsy for his own good.
Oh,
and that
no.
liquid courage shit he dishes out on Twitter doesn't really carry over to live debates.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Keem kind of paddled that ass.
Look, I don't have a problem with you. You're the one that supposedly have this problem with me.
You called me a low IQ cuck.
Well, in response to what?
Or I said I made a joke about the guy in a dress, which is ridiculous, by the way. Somebody hit you. It's the first time you've ever been hit in your life. You overreact. You make multiple Twitter videos about it. You make YouTube videos about it, and now you're trying to sue the guy.
I'm not trying. I am suing him.
Why didn't you just hit him back?
That's not how it works, dude, Keem.
If he hit you first, it's fair and square. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's this. You talk shit to people, and then when they confront you, then you turn all beta, and you're like, oh no, it's not a big deal, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't know, it's like that you're lonely.
Now, the second reason why Jeremy bringing Keemstar on was a bad idea was because Keem let Medicare onto Quartering stream for a second session of Ask
nice.
Alan.
How you doing there, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Oh, how you doing there? How you doing there, Soul Boy? How's it going?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Soy
How come we're not on
boy.
your channel?
Oh, because you're the one that invited me over here, remember?
Did you stream last Sunday? I missed it.
No, see, I didn't want to be a cunt and beg people for money when somebody's doing a charity stream like somebody else did.
So you saying you kissed the ring of Monday Matt last weekend?
Oh no, I just didn't want to steal money from children like an asshole might do.
Well,
you know what I mean?
that. All the thousands of dollars that Ralph donated? Oh wait, none of that. None of that actually made it.
No, well, I think it's the same guy that had to do a GoFundMe because a tranny beat him up.
Me? No.
Yeah, you got slapped around by a man in a dress. You're a real strong guy, Jeremy.
He talks
all this shit to Keem. You're a cuck, Keem. You're a coward. You're a pussy. You're a bitch. All this shit.
Well,
he shows up and it's. Can I suck your balls a little harder? Oh, squirt it down my throat,
No,
Keem.
Jim, come on, dude. His take was what? That I sued a guy and he didn't agree with it. Okay, hot take.
No, his take was that you're a beta pussy bitch. You got beat up by a tranny. You are lying about being emotionally damaged with your loss.
I love all the little block things here where I can't can't say it because it's too spicy.
Suit. And he's probably going to make fun of your wife, but you didn't show him a picture. Oh, and also you're boring as shit and you talk way too slow. That was his take. I didn't hear anything from you.
Well, I mean, am I supposed to post pictures of my wife to impress anonymous internet people or no?
You told him you would.
This is sad. I left. I was waiting to get Jim in here to see him battle. I tried to go at you a little bit, rile you up, but you just sucked my dick. You're just.
I could never imagine posting pictures of my family online, especially not to try to own people.
Sad, dude.
How did I suck your dick, Keem?
You got on your knees
nothing gets you in fight mode. A guy punching you in the face doesn't get you in fight mode.
What am I supposed to?
Beta.
And that's the story of how Jeremy went 2-0 in a span of like 40 minutes on his own stream. Not the soldier Sargon wanted.
Don't you mean 0-2?
But probably the one he deserved. That would be the end of Quartering's short-lived Bloodsport's career. By the end of next year, the entire Skeptic sector ecosystem would have changed anyway. The Skeptics would basically disintegrate through people leaving, infighting, self-destructing, and the liberalist movement collapsing after Sargon's big debut into mainstream politics turned into one of the most brutal public humiliation rituals in British history. And credit where it's due, the Quartering would come out of this tumultuous early era of his channel not only intact but thriving. His channel would become a money printing behemoth. And honestly, if that was it, if Jeremy was just a popular YouTuber, I wouldn't have made this video. But Jeremy wasn't satisfied with being just a popular YouTuber making a high 6-figure to low 7-figure income.
Wait. I'm just looking at the thing here. I'm a level 2 judge in Norfolk. I am agender. I use non-binary as a blanket term. And my pronouns are they, them, and theirs. Oh, I'm sure this was a fun video to watch.
That wasn't entrepreneurial enough for him. Nah, he needed a non-YouTube related business.
Oh no, are we going where I think we're going?
And this, in my opinion, is this dude's biggest problem. Because Jeremy Hambly is one of the most cartoonishly bad businessmen I have ever seen.
Oh, we're just about halfway through. I won't sing Bon Jovi right now.
Before we get to the post-skeptic era of Jeremy's career, we gotta talk business. Something a lot of YouTubers end up leaning into if they have any long-term thinking. The desire to take your YouTube riches and invest it into something outside of YouTube isn't unique.
Isn't Prime like dead? I keep seeing all these, I never watched them, but I keep having these things pop up on my timeline or my recommendations like Prime, the deserved death of Prime, or Prime is down and everyone is happy, and this, that, and the other thing. Don't forget the shitty website.
To the Quartering is basically a requirement for all YouTubers unless you plan on getting another job or doing YouTube until you hit retirement age, which a shocking amount of middle-aged dudes on this platform unironically seem to plan to do. Quartering wasn't wrong to try and duplicate his streams of revenue off-site. Tons of popular YouTubers have made legit off-site businesses off of their YouTube fame and money. The issue is purely in execution. Now, some of you might say, well, Mikey, the majority of people who try to make content for a living never get any support. And if they do, they're lucky to just make minimum wage. Jeremy
Yeah, agreed.
becoming a millionaire off content creation is genuinely an impressive feat. And okay, I don't disagree. But is being a successful content creator the same thing as being a successful businessman? There are literal teenagers who don't know shit about running a business, making an LLC, filing their taxes, or anything besides making videos, indoor streaming, and still end up as millionaires before they can legally drink. Running a successful business and running a successful YouTube channel are two separate enterprises. I feel most people understand this. Jeremy ain't most people. He's barely.
Wait, hold on. But I saw something.
I feel most people understand this. Jeremy.
He has a Game Gear. I don't remember the box ever looking like that. What's he got there? He's got Game Gear, NES Classic. I guess that's the SNES Classic next to it. And I have no idea what. Is that Icon, Glades, or Condo, whatever the fuck. Oh, he also had an original Game Boy above on the top right of the screen, right behind me.
And his admittedly exceptional success as a YouTuber has got to put him under a self-afflicted genjutsu, wherein he believes he's a competent businessman too. He ain't. Closest he ever got was Be Your Own IT, which barely made any money, and which he sold off for more than it was worth the second he got the opportunity. There's also Marketing Sheriff LLC, which is just a small digital marketing firm he started in 2014 that would never become a known agency brand and is essentially just a business shell for Quartering's online work. Matter of fact, let's go over an entrepreneurial catastrophe of Jeremy's from this time, because it's a great example of what I'm getting at. We go back to late 2018. It's December, and it's a big moment for the Big Ham Planet, because he was launching a new and big...
Oh god, he has a Lynx also. Does he just... Oh yeah, he was a game collector, right? Or like gaming collector. Yeah, because he's got the fucking all the old NES stuff. This is the remake or the second model NES. And then there's the other models. He's got a fucking Lynx. Good lord. You have to be hardcore to have a Lynx in the box. I mean, the Game Boy, it is what it is. The Game Gear, Switch. Yeah, just like boxes. What? Wait a minute, though. There's still the price tag on the Vita here?
What? Ambitious project. Exclusively games.
Uh-oh.
It was going to be a gaming news website with videos and articles written by journalists along with a forum, all of which were pitched as a politics-free haven for gamers. Hey, great idea, bro. How you gonna pay for that? A small forum is one thing, but you're talking about building something like IGN. What a solution to that was simple. He was gonna crowdfund the money. Despite making a pretty heavy bag from YouTube at this point, Quartering still decided to launch an...
He's got a couple of Genesises. Are those like the separate models? I think the one on the right here is like the OG, and then the other one was like, there was one revision of the original hardware, or the original big one before the Genesis 2, which was the smaller one that a lot of people know looks more like a square. And then, of course, the Genesis 3, which is like a small, it almost looks like a bowl. Yeah, I think I remember reading about that or hearing that he sold a bunch of his old game shit. I saw a bunch of my old stuff. Like, I barely throw away. Well, I never throw. I do feel bad that I traded in a bunch of my old stuff. I wish I never traded in my PS3 or my PS4. The only reason I didn't trade in my Xbox 360 was because I had so much Rock Band and Guitar Hero DLC that I couldn't part with it. Since those games were not backwards compatible. I mean, Rock Band sort of was, but I was going to run into the issue where I was going to lose some of my songs, and I would have to pay even to get them into the newer games. So and I would also have to buy new instruments. So my thinking was, well, okay, I can either buy the new version as well as new equipment and pay for the songs to transfer over, and not all of them are going to transfer over. Or option B, I keep the 360, I keep the controllers, and I can just keep playing all the same songs that I've already bought. Seems to make more sense to just hold on to the fucking 360, which I still have and is still somewhat working. I mean, it sounds like a fucking airplane engine. Like, it's still loud, even though I actually went in. I actually opened up the 360 and I did a complete cleaning job. Like, I opened up because it was well past warranty, so I wasn't worried about, voiding it. I mean, I was worried about breaking it, but I got the thing out. I cleaned off everything. I applied new thermal paste everywhere. I don't mean I could just spray it everywhere. I mean, the place where it's supposed to go. I believe I had to put on the CPU. I think there was one other part that there was some, but regardless, it has new, well, at the time, new thermal paste on it. Because the other one, it was like chunky dust. Like it was the paste had gone well beyond its use.
Making a pretty heavy bag from YouTube at this point, Quartering still decided to launch an Indiegogo campaign for $5,000. And ain't it interesting how Jeremy, who brags about how much money he makes and who claims he was making
net probably low sevens.
Okay.
By 2018, still had to crowdfund $5,000 from his fans. Anyway, the campaign was a success. Quartering would end up raising almost $160,000
Good Lord.
by the campaign's end. Okay, we got some motion here, some real fan support. Now, you would think when Exclusively Games launched in 2019, everything would be smooth. What with Jeremy getting over 3,000% more than what he initially needed to even get it off the ground. You would be wrong. The site was violently burning through money from day one. The main problems for Exclusively Games came down to two very poorly thought out promises Quartering made beforehand. One was that he was gonna be hands off editorially. This was his way of not scaring the hoes, so to speak. Possibly warding off people who wouldn't want to touch the site because he was affiliated with it. It didn't work, obviously, because I mean, you own it, nigga. You were always going to be affiliated with it regardless. It also...
That's like when the Jamas decided to step away from Creator Clash and thinking that, oh, well, if we're not affiliated with it, the thing can succeed. It's like, no, everyone's still associated you with Creator Clash. I have a... because I never traded in my One X. I have the Xbox One X, like the Pro model of the One. I really should find a use for it. I don't want to just sell it. Actually, what I want to do is I want to talk to, as my other friend has a 360. I want to see if I can like swap, because I would much rather have another 360 that I can like fuck around with and like mod, and then be able to just load a bunch of ROMs onto like a stick and just play whatever the fuck I want. Like that would be cool. But I need to go and talk to the guy. I should reach out to him today.
That when things started getting funky at Exclusively Games, he wouldn't be able to put out the fires because he literally wasn't paying attention to this website he had taken $160,000 from his audience to make. The second bad promise was that he promised there would be no ads. All the money would be made from donations and merch sales. The problem with this idea is that it only really works as a business model if you have a lot of dedicated users/whales. Exclusively Games did not. As for the other problems, well, it'd be simpler for me to just read these messages of people who worked at and used Exclusively Games. He spent $2.5K to have the review section redesigned. Ground up. The developers took about 2 to 3 weeks to finish. Isn't he struggling for money? Yup. They finished. They put the reviews in the staging area. On offline version of the site, only the admins have access to. They worked brilliantly, better than ever. Apparently, Jeremy forgot about it, and despite 2 to 3 emails of them asking if they should go live with the new version, he never responded. I didn't...
Oh, God, they never migrated from stage to production? Oh, no. That's great. the state. It's not the staging. So in like the world of like websites and stuff, like the actual business of it, you have different levels of environments, right? You have typically dev, stage, and prod. And sometimes you also have preview and QA, but the main ones are dev, stage, and prod. Dev is the stuff that you can just fuck around with. That's like where you actually do the work, like you build whatever it is you're building. Stage is then the one that you put up for people to review, like the client or the higher ups. It's not as messy as dev. You can still fuck around with it, but essentially it's like it's staging. It's like you're staging the scene. And so that's basically the review thing. And then prod or production, like that's the live site. That's what the rest of the world sees. So basically it stayed in stage and it was never reviewed and promoted to production. That is so fucking rich.
But wasn't my
I don't mean review tech rich. I just mean like hilarious.
Job to at this point. The site sounds like it'll be dead in a year. Yeah, it's on fumes now. He's out of money for it 100%. I like Jeremy. He's always been goodish to me. He paid me very well, but I can't save EG, and he wouldn't let me even if I tried. Too controlling.
Ooh.
I mean, I don't know 100% about EG, but it's costly as fuck to go about this the way he is. 160K could keep a website plus staff afloat for maybe 6 to 12 months. This one is my favorite. Indian devs doing weird shit. He outsourced the site to India? OMG, I didn't tell you? He just fired them last week for sending in bills for things we never ordered. They probably sensed that he didn't have a good grasp of the financial situation, given that he just paid them 2.5K for nothing. So I think they tried to milk a little $100 here, $250 there.
What a fucking asshole, outsourcing the shit to India. Like, bro. I mean, even back then, like 20, you could easily find some people like off of like Fiverr, Dice. There's this other site too. It's not Fiverr, but it's basically like Fiverr, but it's tech focused. The name is eluding me. I know it exists. The point being is they didn't have to go and like outsource it to India. You could have found some decent American workers, and they probably wouldn't have fucked you over like the Indian people did.
And he caught on finally. Yeah, that's right. The quartering outsourced the maintenance of the site he took $160,000 from his fans to create to some random Indians who scammed him, because of course they did. Things started going so bad for Exclusively Games that Jeremy ran a second fundraiser in July 2019 and got another 50K from his mark-ass followers. It didn't help. By May 2020, despite being over $200,000 in the hole of other people's money, by the way, Jeremy would announce that Exclusively Games was on pause.
When I started this project, it was a passion project. One that I wanted to prove that a website that doesn't rely on outrage can exist in modern day. My plan was to crowdfund as long as it took to eventually build up a YouTube channel that would then fund the channel.
Super
well,
gal bros,
after the first 6 months, the YouTube channel really didn't pick up very much steam. It wasn't generating any money. And between paying an editor,
the funny thing is, like now there's another website that's kind of doing something similar. What's it called? It's made by SkillUp or ShillUp if you feel that way about him. The guy, you know, the Australian guy who was the Vision creator who then became a game reviewer. He made his own website, which basically sounds like Jeremy's thing, where it's all like user supported and funded. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I have to imagine, at least from a business perspective, it's being handled better than the way Jeremy's did.
And people to do social media and to write articles. The money disappeared very quickly. So we ran a second.
Disappeared.
At that point, I had made it my goal to figure out how to get this funded without continuing to ask for handouts, because I wanted the site to exist on its own. Well, that didn't work. I tried running Amazon ads. I tried doing a couple of different, ads like that. At the end of the day, the site really failed to reach critical mass. Much of that falls on me for not advertising.
No, all of it does.
Some disgruntled fans of the Quartering, unamused by his bullshit, launched an imitation site also called Exclusively Games with the same logo, forum, and even Twitter handle. It didn't last for long, but it goes to show the passion that some of the Quartering's fans had was genuine, and he could have actually had something on his hands if he was just more competent. All in all, it turned out to be more of a money-burning exercise than anything else. Made Game Finder almost look competently executed by comparison. And that's just the beginning. There was also that time in 2020 when the pandemic was taking the world by storm that Quartering would obtain a $32,500 PPP loan for Marketing Sheriff LLC as part of the COVID-19 relief program, a loan which was fully forgiven by the government. Now, Jeremy is far from the only businessman to take advantage of this program during the pandemic, but Jeremy, who likes to think of himself as a real businessman who got it out the mud and didn't take handouts,
Didn't DSP get one of those
people
too?
compare PPP to other types of loan forgiveness. It's okay, bro. You're not less of a man just because you got off on PPP. You are less of a man because of that time you ran away from a bread tuber in August of 2020, though.
Uh-oh. The quivering.
What happened is one evening, Quartering's wino tendencies got him into some trouble again.
Uh-oh.
While drunk, he badgered and eventually agreed to a debate with the Surf Times if the Surf Times could raise $5K for charity. The Surf Times then went on to raise 8 times that for a trans
40.
charity. Now, when the time came for Jeremy to show up or shut up, he ran. He ran away with his tail tucked between his fat thighs.
I had scheduled a debate with a harsh critic of mine. In good faith, I agreed to speak to them for charity's sake. This week, they have taken to a charity live stream and raised money spreading absurd lies about me and showing anything but good faith.
No way. No way.
I should have known.
No way.
I'll keep to my word about donating money, but this will be the last time I agree to speak to these people in good faith. I've maintained radio silence, not engaged or fired shots at them. But they simply couldn't be bothered to extend the same comedy. It goes on. Moving forward, it's pretty hilarious how these folks consider themselves so full of virtue. I wonder what the charity would think about them using the platform of raising money to help trans people was at least partly funded by harassing and bullying others. Hypocrites, as usual.
This motherfucker really ducked the debate with a bread tuber. Grown-ass man who talks shit about other people for a living, who one of his biggest gravy trains was making fun of other people in the Magic community and obsessing over Brie Larson, was crying because a bread tuber was cyberbullying him. My thoughts on this are encapsulated by a tweet by Vouch of all people.
Oh, God.
What an unbelievable pussy. The Quartering said he'd only debate at the Surfs TV if he gave $5,000 to charity. So Lance went ahead and raised over $40,000 for Trans Mutual Aid in a massive 36-hour marathon. And now the Quivering is backing out. Just embarrassing. But what's amazing is that this still wasn't the most embarrassing thing to have happened to the Quartering that month. No, that honor goes to something before this, to Pissgate, the time Jeremy got blackout drunk and pissed in his basement.
You never know. Maybe I'm gonna pee in my trash can down here. I don't know. My wife went out for pizza without me. I'm angry about it.
That is one of the greatest lines ever. My wife went out for pizza without me. That's a statement that will never come out of my mouth. A couple reasons. One, because my wife, she doesn't hate pizza, but she would never be the one where it's like, what should we eat? Oh, how about pizza? Like, she's never gonna recommend that or request that. But also, I would never let such a story be shared with my audience.
So I'm gonna win this round, and I'm gonna pee. If I don't win this round, I'm gonna pee in my own basement. What do we think about that? I don't have a bathroom down here. I was ready to pee my pants. I'm ready to, I don't have a toilet down here. All I have is a drain in the floor. I feel like we're gonna have to use it though. I feel like we're gonna have to use it. I got.
What do you mean like a drain in the floor? Is that like? Are you referring to like your sup pump? Like, what do you mean you have a drain in the floor of your basement? Because you don't just have holes in your basement. That's like a pump, right? Or am I just talking out my ass here? I don't think sending urine into that is a good idea.
He's so bad. I gotta pee 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 so bad. I'll never survive this round. I'm not
Then
gonna
just
survive
quit
this round. I
and
gotta
piss.
pee so bad. Nobody's been eliminated either.
Just
Get
lose
up!
and take a piss. How are we even debating this?
No!
Go woke, go broke. What sounds to be like this, the pissing. Freaking, what is it? Gaming Stevie or whatever. The DSP donator who has his own channel. He just like had a thing where he pissed on the floor. Like he literally just pissed on his floor and you could hear it. You don't have to like go and boost up the volume. It was so close to the mic that you could just hear him piss. Like, you know, like the sound of fucking piss hitting a floor. That's what it was. I'm listening to this, I'm like, ugh. I don't follow him. Like, just someone just posted it on Twitter. And I think it was, well, no, Discord originally and then on Twitter. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
I've literally never lost that round. But I'm ready. I'm ready now.
He is so drunk.
Oh my god. I just peed in my basement. No, not in the cave. Just in the drain. In the drain.
Yeah, what do you mean in the
If
drain?
you want to watch a streamer that wants to pee in the potty, go watch someone else. When you're a pro gamer like me, yeah, I mean, if you're a dude that, if you want to watch a dude that's going to piss in the fucking overflow tank in his basement, that's who I am.
Overflow tank? What the fuck is that? Yeah, it must be his. Yeah, okay, so he has a sub pump. He has a pump in his basement, because I have one too. It's literally like a hole. Speaking of which, I have to go and my thing is due for maintenance. I got the email about that. I would never think to piss in there. I mean, if for whatever reason I had to like really piss, like just fucking go in a trash can. I mean, is that gross? Yes. You should not be pissing in anywhere other than a toilet if you can. But like, God, going all the way to your pump and doing it. Because I get the impression he has like what I have in terms of setup. So I have like with my basement, I have, guess I could modify it, but no, essentially I'm in a finished part of my basement. Like there's walls up, it's painted, shelving, get my table and all that shit. And then at the end, so like all the way to the wall behind me, there's then a door, a short hallway. And then through there's a door on the left. Well, there's two doors. The one on the right is my hatch for my basement thing. And then on the left, that's like the unfinished part of the basement. That's where my HVAC, my oil tank, a couple of other shelves, my water softener, like all that stuff is in there, as well as my sub pump that we got installed when we found out that the previous owner lied about the water damage that had been done. So we just got a super duper water, elimination system to police his basement dweller, dude. This is just as bad as LTG's piss bottle and later piss tumbler, which he drinks out of. Ugh.
I'm not taking a pause to pee.
I guess you can just get away with shit like this when you're just known for regurgitating news 5 to 6 times a day. And that's the story of how the quartering, aka PP Piss Boy, relieved himself on the floor of his basement. All in all, 2020 wasn't the best year for Jeremy. A lot of it came down to, well, him. But the alcohol definitely helped. We jump to 2022, the year
Oh
in
my God, he
opinion,
has. Oh God, look at that collection of Neo Geo games he's got. He's got quite a few of them. Samurai Showdowns. I don't recognize any over there, but
that's been the
yeah, World Heroes, King of Fighters. But those things can't be cheap. Wow, I love the. I didn't realize they put how big the games were on the side, like how many megabits they were. 133, 74, 564, 146, 539. What even is that? RB2? Hold on. What the fuck even is that? Real bout? Wait. Okay, Real Bout Fatal Fury 2, The Newcomers. Okay, so that's what that is. But goddamn, 539? Oh, it was also a CD game. Maybe that's why it's so big. Well, okay, whatever. We're just completely being derailed by my autism. Actually, I think that's World Heroes 2. This one. Oh, I see now. Okay, on the very bottom, it's World Heroes. And then World Heroes, I believe that's 2.
most famous.
Oh, and he also has the Mortal Kombat DOS version. I had this back in the day. It was actually a pretty good port. And I think GOG has it. It's a admirable port. It's closer to the SNES version than the Genesis one, but it does obviously have blood. I should go and try that again. But yeah, God, I played that on my old fucking Pentium. Well, actually, no, did I? No, if it was my 486, I played it on. Yeah.
Grateful for the quartering after 2017. It was the year he would purposely shackle the heaviest ball and chain he could to his ankle, voluntarily branding himself with a brand of sacrifice that would see financial demons hunting him down for years to come.
This coffee?
This was the year that he would, in May, announce
Coffee brand coffee,
If you've been
yes.
on my channel for any amount of time, you know I've spent the better part of the last 5 years covering companies who have gotten woke and eventually gotten
Whoa, hold on.
5 years.
Sorry. I see something that takes my attention, then rewinding, I see some other shit that takes my attention. Is that the new Toe Jam and Earl game? No, I think it's because I can't tell because it looks like a Genesis thing, but I don't think it is one. Mother 2, the fucking companion cubes. I didn't know they sold the Zapper separate. I mean, it makes sense that they would, but I just never remember seeing that back in the day. I thought it was just always included with the NES. Or the bundles they would sell.
If you've been on my channel for any amount of time, you know I've spent the better part of the last 5 years covering.
Let's see. Will Smith slaps Chris Rock. Fake. Ricky Gervais blasts woke. Well, I just love this. Let's just look at the cap things. The monsters have been arrested. Joe Rogan just humiliated Spotify and Facebook. G4 TV just hit rock bottom. Disney employees make new insane demands. Applebee's leaks ghoulish email laughing at Bob Saget. What the fuck? Oh yeah, wasn't he found dead? Was that the original Toe Jam and Earl? No, I think it's a sequel. Hold on. No, I think that's a Rage on Funkatron. Hold on. No, that's not Panic. Like, it looks similar, but it looks a bit different. I don't know. Okay, you know what I think it is? I think it's like some sort of special art thing. Because also the logo on the top is a little too, like, big.
On my channel.
To be... Yeah, I think that's like some sort of like special drawn thing of it. I don't know.
For any amount of time, you know, I've spent the better part of the last 5 years covering companies who have gotten woke and eventually gotten broke. Lament.
Rage and just blast Leah. We must find these monsters. Seth Rogen blasted. Disney walkout massively fails.
Lamenting how major companies like Disney or even ice cream makers or comic books have at best become politically divisive.
For a sec, I thought he was about to say WWE. I was about to say, excuse me, when the fuck did WWE ever go woke?
And at worst, outright attack their own customers. Well, I've sat on the sidelines long enough, and I've decided that I was going
Did he actually put that in his video? He put himself as that meme.
Long enough.
Like, bro, that's not a flex, or that's not a way to look positive.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
And I've decided that I was going to put my money where my mouth was and get into the game. Introducing coffee brand coffee. So yeah, I bought.
And the massive retard arc begins. Like, good fucking lord. Like, this is almost like a joke. Like, you know what this honestly sounds like? Like, imagine... Oops. Sorry, give me a second here. My fucking microphone cord. I could totally see this being like a thing in Seinfeld, right? Where, like, Kramer comes in, it's like, Jerry, I got this great idea. Oh, like you're a coffee book. Oh, no, Jerry, like that, but something similar. I'm gonna make my own coffee. Okay. Yeah, but no, Jerry, I got the perfect name. Coffee brand coffee. That sounds like Kramer. That sounds like a horrible idea. No, it's perfect. It's like the name that's always out there. It's like, what do you want? I want coffee. So they'll always say the name. Sorry, give me 1 second here. But right, doesn't like it sounds like a joke. Coffee brand coffee. It sounds like a Kramer pitch.
A coffee company.
And man, Quarter were really act like this was going to be his biggest move yet. That this was going to be the crown jewel of his entrepreneurial journey. What it would actually turn out to be is a financial burden, a money pit, and a masterclass on how not to run a business.
Yeah,
First,
exactly.
we'll start with the conceptual phase. From the beginning, Jeremy's attitude with this business ordeal of his was a little problematic. He talked about all the other businesses he's covered over the years that have failed, but presenting their failings as a result of them just
gotten woke and eventually gotten broke.
Never mind that they're as a result of
I'm
them
sorry,
just
I can't get enough of these awful
eventually
headlines.
Gotten broke.
Never mind that there have been woke-free and straight-up anti-woke businesses that have also gone broke. But Jeremy had fooled himself into believing that as
how much fucking awful slop and shit have we seen from like anti-woke companies? Like, I'm not picking sides. I'm just saying, like, bro, if you're gonna shit on go woke, go broke, well, I could argue go anti-woke, go broke as well.
As long as he didn't become an obnoxious ideologue, his coffee company would magically make money. That's not how this works. Conceptual phase problem number 2. Starting a coffee company as your breakout business as a YouTuber is so played out, it's basically parody at this point. Like, how much coffee do these niggas think the average person drinks? And that ain't even the worst of it, because if you're a content creator and you start your own coffee brand, your main competition isn't going to be the other content creator-owned coffee brands. It's going to be
coffee
the
companies.
mainstream brands of
Oh, they got these at Walmart. I recognize these price tags.
Coffee everybody already buys and are readily available on shelves at Walmart, Target, Costco, etc. And this brings us to conceptual phase problem number 3. The name. Quartering naming his coffee company Coffee Brand Coffee is simultaneously the most arrogant and most retarded thing.
Thank you. Thank you. He picked the exact word. Retarded. Thank you.
On this pendejo to give his coffee this placeholder ass name and this generic minimalist off-brand aesthetic really speaks to how
Reusable coffee filter. Hold on. I gotta see how much these cost. The fuck? Yeah, one of these costs $10. Meanwhile, you can get like multi-packs of that for even less on Amazon. Yeah, but I'll buy yours, Jeremy.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
high he had gotten on his own supply. He really thought he was like that he could sell this shit based on his own name recognition. Maybe he even thought that his giant audience would buy up his whole stock in the first year, so he wouldn't need to make use of that masters in internet marketing and actually market his product to him. He would be wrong. Because Quartering would spend the next few years from the time he launched it to the date of me making this video, struggling to sell his generic, boring, overpriced coffee to anyone, including his fans. Turns out when you name your product something that if you put it into Google, you get 9,000 other products first,
yes,
it's kind of hard to sell. You would think a dude with a degree in marketing would know that, but I guess not. So literally, before the company even got off the ground, the odds of it being a success were already in the single-digit percentage range.
Yeah, I mean, like, he did everything wrong. I mean, he's the guy has already covered it. Nikki has mainly covered it, but like, it's an awful name that gets confusing when you go and you search for it because it matches the product that you're fucking doing. Like, there's a reason why you don't see, things like macaroni and cheese brand macaroni and cheese. There's the, what is it? The premium coffee market is so incredibly oversaturated already. And so you're trying to get the thing in there. And it's like, the vast majority of coffee drinkers are not, like, that's already a niche market. Like, people who demand high quality coffee. Because the vast majority of people, I mean, obviously you don't want to be drinking shit. But I think, like me, many people view coffee more as like a utility as opposed to an indulgence. Like, I have a coffee every morning, and it's either Taster's Choice or what's the brand? It's a Nescafe one. Hold on, let me get the actual name here. My fucking keyboard will work. Classico. Yeah, I make instant coffee every morning. Either the Nescafe Classico or Taster's Choice, which are much, much cheaper. Does it taste as good? Probably not. But for the prices that this guy's charging, like this thing here, I don't know how much is in there. I have to imagine. Like so, hold on. Nescafe instant coffee. Yeah, so the thing I get is, let's see here. Wait, Taster's Choice is owned by them as well? I didn't know that. But anyways, the thing that I drink, the Nescafe, it's like $13 for 10.5 ounces. Meanwhile, even if this is the same amount, it's $18. And I'm willing to actually, you know what? Let's just give me a sec here. Yeah, I know. Fuckface. No, I'm not talking to anyone here. I just got a really stupid message. Let's just field trip, folks. Oh god, he has a reward system now. By the way, this is awful setup right here. Like, why would you have a thing? Okay, oh, hold on one sec. Yeah, this is dumb. Why would you have a middle menu and then have everything go do a full span with the text on the far left? No, retard. You would have it all come down. All the text should be right under it. Recently, you drink teas now. Yeah, I like coffee. Well, this isn't a good example. This is running off of a 4K display, so I'll let. I mean, yeah, it is kind of small, but this is more due to the fact of how big the desktop is. But like I said, though, it doesn't change the fact that the text should not be on the far left of the screen. Like, it should, see this thing here? Like, that's what it should be. I bet there's something you know what? I bet there's something fucked up. Give me a sec here. I bet there's some bad CSS going on here. Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm gonna. This might be my little fucking autistic side project, but I have the feeling there's a fucked up. There's something bad going on with his style sheet. Anyways, let's actually look at this shit. Yeah. Okay, so 12 ounces. So my stuff is 10.5. Bourbon? Who the fuck wants bourbon flavored coffee? And this is also not a great design philosophy either, having like pure white and then like this goofy like black thing. And yeah, and this pop-up is like, who the fuck designed this shit? And again, and who the fuck is, what do you mean sold out? No, it's not sold out. You have none in stock. There's a difference. Ugh, blueberry cobbler, strawberries and cream. Like the thing is, like, I get having flavored coffees, but the range that you have with coffee, because it's so bitter, is fairly limited. You can't be having stuff like blueberry and strawberry and cream, because it's not going to taste like that. Not to mention, these are more expensive. These ones are $20. At this point, yeah, this is by no means a deal at all. Apple strudel. Who wants an apple strudel? And the art on this is atrocious too. You know what that looks like? Those like those god awful McDonald's apple pies, like the ones that come in those little like things look like for a hot pocket. Okay, that's a cool effect, but also scary. The fact that text will highlight itself through here. Like, see, it just did it right here. It's doing it right now. Needs more apple flavor. Didn't have enough flavor, was expecting more. Amazing with cinnamon creamer. Wait, this review came out yesterday or 2 days ago? Okay, this isn't a review. 5-star. Look at this. Hold on a second. Look at this quote-unquote review. 5 stars. Yeah. Haven't cracked this one open yet. Will be this weekend. That's not a review. This is an Instagram post. This is a social media post. This isn't a review.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I mean, this isn't Jeremy's fault. I'm shitting more on the moron. I'm shitting more on the moron. This guy here, Michael S. Whatever. Tiger's blood. What? Well, is that supposed to say summer? Like, I'm sorry, these two M's here just look like god awful. Like, I legit didn't, like, I fucking know cursive. And, like, that is some, like, chicken scratch cursive. That is an awful design. I would never approve of that. What the fuck is this? This guy showing his face in his review was definitely a choice. You want a cheaper one, not only that, how much for shipping? Well, yeah, it was fine. Well, I don't know. Oh, give me 1 second here. Let me just make sure I don't, because I don't know if it's going to do some, like, auto-detect shit. Oh, this thing's actually sold out. Okay, let's just... How much is this? Or this is BlackBerry. Oh, so it's built in. You can buy with Prime. So I guess in that case, but let's see how much it is if you buy with Shop, because that's where they want you to really buy it from. Yeah, I have to enter my shipping address. Hold on. Wait, you have to make an account? You have to make an account to make a purchase. Well, that's another fucking, like, fuck you move. But if I buy with Prime, not that I'm going to, and you better not fucking purchase this. Okay, so if you buy with Prime, the shipping is free. So I don't know what it is if you do, like, through them. Because it's obviously the way they want you to do it. Through the, like, I think that's Shopify, right? Maybe not. But yeah, we've gone on this little field trip, I think, long enough. So let's just see what other shit they've got. Vanilla sugar cookie. The tiger's blood. Silky ultra dark roast. Ooh. Like, what even is that? Gingerbread. Ugh. Kits. Oh, there's none. Oh, that helps. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, how much for regular English tea? Bro, you fucking... Hold on. Oh, God, and these are just the tea leaves. These aren't even in, like, a bag. I can see it's over 1 teaspoon of tea leaves. Oh, God, that's so annoying. It's only 3 ounces. Like, bro, you can get fucking, like, 100 bags of English breakfast black tea for, like, what? $5? You're expecting me to pay, like, this? $16, and I have to deal with the annoying leaves and shit? Yeah, fuck that. Okay, let's get back to the show.
If Jeremy had consulted anybody else first, maybe the future woes he would have had to endure could have been avoided. But that's the downside of being rich and also being your own boss. You develop an ego and start thinking you don't need to get a second opinion on shit. Bro really started thinking he was the Elon Musk of YouTube, who he loves, by the way. Jeremy's admiration of Elon is so strong, in fact, that in December of 2022, after Elon bought Twitter, Jeremy got overexcited, got piss boy levels of drunk again, and had a meltdown about how much he loved Elon and wanted to eat his semen just like he ate Sargon's.
I literally got out of bed to make this video. My most important video that I've literally ever made on this channel.
What?
I'm tired. I've been working 14 hours a day. I'm on fumes.
I've been working 14 hours a day. I'm on fumes. Yeah, I guess popping out that slop. He's got a Skyrim's collector's edition, I guess. I don't know what these are back there.
Like pure gas. But this decision, this minute, this moment is so important that I'm willing to F up my entire week. I'm blowing my entire notification window for this video because it's important. It's the most important video I've ever done. Elon Musk has put out a poll. Should I step down as head of Twitter? It is currently 56.3% to 43.7%. It's actually gotten a little bit closer. I need you to go to Elon Musk's Twitter right now. Go to his poll and vote no.
So what was Quartering's brilliant idea on how he was going to sell his coffee? By shilling it, constantly and shamelessly. Shilling your own products isn't the worst thing in the world. It's actually quite respectable to sell something to your audience that you made yourself rather than shill products to some random company whose stuff you might not even use or would have endorsed if you weren't receiving a check for it. But the problem with Jeremy's shilling of CBC is volume and desperation.
Right, yeah, exactly. I don't even use those name brands necessarily. I mean, just getting like fucking ShopRite or like whatever your store's thing is and drinking Everclear. Ugh, God.
Quartering would literally never miss an opportunity to shill coffee brand coffee. The pinnacle of Quartering's relentless quest to shill coffee brand coffee. Just the moment that really embodies how desperate this dude has been to sell a single bag of this overpriced bullshit of his is when on June 8th of 2022, when Tim Pool, a longtime associate of Quartering's and fellow YouTube news slopper, got swatted during one of his Timcast streams. Now the chat was still live while Tim and the others were away, and while they were, the Quartering went into Tim's chat and shilled his fucking coffee. This is a high-stress moment, likely a great moment to brew up a delicious cup of coffee brand coffee if the stress is getting
my God.
Perhaps one of our new teas will calm you. Maybe a velvety cup of coffee brand cocoa. Jeremy did this like 4 or 5 times before Tim returned, and even
Oh my God.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
replied with further shilling under all of Tim's tweets.
Like I heard, you know what the craziest thing was? When we were outside, right, and copped it in the suite, we just kept hearing coffee brand coffee. And I was like, what's that? Coffee. And I was like, what? Looking around. And then I open the chat and all I see is Chet's coffee brand coffee. I'm like, what's happening? Quartering. Jeremy. He gave us $400.
More than that.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Bro literally has no sense of shame. Now,
That
what's
is
funny is that Quartering
god-awful.
joked on Twitter, look, I'm not saying I caused the swatting at Tim Pool's house just to hawk my delicious coffee, organic teas, and indulgent cocoas, but I'm
talk about
not
indulgent.
saying that. And then proceeded to get swatted himself just a few hours later.
That's what you get, fam. Push you. Yeah, blood. Whose end are you coming to now, fam? Dickhead.
Despite all this shilling, hawking, suspiciously hyper-positive 5-star reviews, and promises about how he'd get coffee brand coffee on store shelves by the end of 2022, reception to Quartering's coffee has always remained mixed, and he's always struggled to sell any of it. Now, just because Quartering was sinking in the commercial quicksand that was his coffee company, that wouldn't stop him from starting another business just a year later.
Really?
See, this is how cocky bro was. He was just swimming in money, huffing in all his mustiness, thinking he was gonna be making 9 figures by 2030 or whatever.
9
The
figures.
motivation for this particular capitalist venture, however, wasn't just Quartering's desire to have a legitimate business, it was to simp.
What is this from?
Specifically, the simp for Sydney Watson, the Australian-American former Blaze employee who, along with Elijah Schaefer, who was also present at Jan 6 and went inside the Capitol building in Nancy Pelosi's office with Bait Alaska and even took a picture of Nancy Pelosi's email, but was the only person who went inside the Capitol and never faced any punishment for it, for some reason. Hosted the show You Are Here Together. After Sydney left the Blaze and got in a lawsuit with him, she was kind of left in a bad spot.
Oh, the Blaze.
So Jeremy decided to bust out his cape and play Captain Save a Sheila, and they would, in late 2022, start
Oh, yeah,
a
didn't
new
she
show
fuck him
together
over?
called
Oh, yeah, she
Community
did.
Notes. But the Save a Sheila didn't stop there. Not
Oh yeah, she fucked him out of some money, I'm pretty sure. I think she used, like, she was gonna join him on like a podcast, and he obviously made her an offer, but she was already like being courted by another company, so she just used his offer to then show to the other company so that they could beat it. So essentially she just used Jeremy to make more money at the place where she really wanted to work.
On March 2023, Quartering would team up with Sydney to launch a whole website called The Publica. The Publica would be a politics and culture news site for free thinkers and mischief makers. That would be a
Whoa, wait, hold on. Twitter changes name to X. Dylan Mulvaney, controversy costs Bush over $5 billion. NPR rage quit Twitter for being labeled government funded. Minnesota student charged over cash weapons and battle plans for a school. Man kills forgers 9 at Louisville bank mass shooting. Wow, what a fucking uplifting news site.
grassroots alternative to mainstream media, and Quartering would front $2,500,000 into this venture.
It's disappointing to hear about Sydney, but I don't know what anyone takes Lauren Southern seriously. Yeah, I mean, I would.
Wait a minute. Say it again.
$2,500,000 into this venture.
It's disappointing to hear about Sydney, but
2,500.
I don't know what anyone takes Lauren Southern seriously. Yeah, I mean, I was heartbroken when I saw her messages. She like literally told people, you know, I went out of my way to try and help her with her tea company, and she had no idea how to do fulfillment or any of this shit. And I was like, hey, let me help you with that. And because she didn't like the price that it would cost me, by the way, I was making no money on it, she told all these other people in these private DM groups that I was ripping her off. But by the way, meanwhile, I had paid about $250,000 to start the Publica, and she'd paid $0.
Nigga, you's a mark. Nigga, you's a lame. Nigga, you's a nerd. Nigga, you soft. Nigga, you frail. Nigga, you look like you a tail. Nigga, you's a buster. Nigga, you's a sucker. Nigga, you look like if your bitch told you she fucked another nigga but say she won't do it again. Nigga, you look like you a truster.
This thirsty ass, happily married man threw a
Is that his
$250,000
wife?
away in a vain attempt to build a new media empire with Sydney Watson. Quartering likes to say shit like,
I learned long ago that internet foins is dumb. That's why I don't do collabs.
Yeah, I remember, what was it? The Kino Casino covered this whole thing.
So I don't take
Or at least
selfies
parts
with
of
other
it.
YouTubers. I'm just here to get on my grind.
But I don't know, Jeremy. Throwing $250,000 into a collab with a bitch you barely know is definitely a few steps beyond what most people would do for their internet friends. Jeremy actually really wants internet friends more than the average e-celeb does. He yearns
What even
for
is a
acknowledgement and
friend?
acceptance from his peers like Dankula, Sargon, Timpool, and especially conservative women like Sydney, along with Lauren Southern, Lauren Chin, and pretty much any other right-wing chick he tried to bait using his money. Sydney barely gave him crumbs of attention before, by the way. But now that she was in a vulnerable state and having burned several bridges with conservative influencers she probably shouldn't have, she had to rely on Jeremy, who swooped in to be the extremely awkward and creepy hero that Sydney probably didn't want but definitely deserved. And when I say awkward and creepy, I'm not just pulling a quartering and pulling stuff out of my cheeks. On the show, Jeremy would often let loose slips like,
My DMs are closed. I'd get too many dick pics.
Do you? Oh.
Just loads of them. And they're not great either. They're not great. They're like flaccid. Girl, have you ever peed in a trough where there's like dongs on the left of you and to the right? You can see them both.
You
and
don't
you're
have to
peeing
look
in an
at
open
them.
river.
You don't have to look at them. It's
You
not
have
like
to look. It's a respect thing. If there's
No, it's not. The fuck's he talking about? You have to look at the dongs at the trough? No, you don't. Says who?
guy who is like supremely hung, you would like rib him about it. You know what I mean? Versus like be jealous.
And it wouldn't be Jeremy without him getting drunk and saying weird shit on Twitter he would have to delete later once he's sobered up, like this one. If this post ends on an odd number of replies, Sydney will post a lewd photo in the replies. One can only imagine what Sydney's DMs from this period look like. Anyway, Operation Simping for Sydney ultimately ended in failure after the Publica failed to gain any traction and struggled to hit even 20% of its subscription goal.
So I have to make a little bit of an announcement. Myself and my good friend Sydney Watson launched a media company back in February 2000.
Oh god, he has the fucking... Yeah, this guy just like buys shit. He has the Commodore 64 thing back here. I mean, no knock on it, but like... I seriously doubt Jeremy has any connection. How old is he? He's gotta be younger than me. How old is this fucking guy? Oh, do we not know how old he is? Oh, April 1983. Yeah, you have like no connection to the Commodore 64. I'm sorry. You're too old and you're in the wrong country.
22, notice the Publica. Almost everybody, on a personal note, who worked for that site did it for almost...
This used to be in the club. No, I think it's the opposite. I think he's just like a horn dog who's in a loveless marriage. Well, right, yeah, it's a Commodore Mini. But point is that like I feel like he just is buying it just to have it, like another thing to put on the shelf, as opposed to something you're gonna like actually use.
Peanuts. But sadly, my time with the Publica has come to an end. My career has been evolving, and I've just been spread too thin.
Like you're a fucking Pokemon.
I need more time and space for personal projects.
According to former employees, Quartering fired the staff while drunk in the middle of the night, and Sydney, though she wouldn't outright trash him, has avoided being caught up in the Quarter Planet's orbit too much ever since. Hey, nobody says simping was easy. Or cheap.
Oh boy.
Another failed business venture and another failed attempt to catch himself an e-girl. But that was okay. Jeremy was gonna throw more money at another conservative woman he wouldn't make the money back on, namely Melanie Mack. Now, she isn't the only woman currently employed by the quartering. He has several people, male and female, on his payroll that he probably shouldn't.
Oh
What
God,
makes
the quarter
Melanie
cast.
stand out is not only does she not really bring anything to the table besides being one of several human money pits that orbit around the quarter planet and eat up his net worth, but Jeremy is obviously fixated on and over-familiar with her to a degree he just isn't with any other co-host, and constantly white knights and fights battles for her to a degree that, even as a boss trying to look out for his employees, is kind of much. It also makes his earlier words about Christine Sprinkle and her white knights look a little hypocritical in hindsight. This was most obvious during the brief Goonergate incident in December of last year, when Melanie and a handful of other culture war righties went crusading against not porn, but extremely sexualized content in male-targeted media in general. Now, people started clapping back at Melanie and her anti-Gooner allies' Puritan stances.
Yeah, exactly. More devolving.
And also pointed out that Melanie, as a fan of Tomb Raider, was throwing stones from a glass house. Quartering would then come to Milady's defense against these Gooner nerds who just wanted to play big titty games all day.
Of course, Smash JT makes an appearance.
Just to remind you guys how Jeremy was moving just a couple years ago.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here, Unsleeved Media, and I've got a scoop for you. I've got some rejected art from Ixalan. You know, I don't know if you have seen this. I did share this image with the YouTubes.
Hey now.
I'm not entirely sure why Wizards of the Coast wouldn't print this card. I mean, certainly very powerful, very intelligent, very thought-provoking. Lots to think about with this card. What's going on in Jorah's mind here?
But Jeremy wasn't reflecting on any of that. He just jumped at the opportunity to look good for an employee he'd be better off laying off. This is true for most of the Quartering's employees. He hires all these people to help run his businesses that all fail anyway, save for his YouTube channel that could probably run just as well with just 1 or 2 full-time editors. The most use Quartering really gets out of these guys is as co-hosts on his Rumble streams, which he started mostly streaming from in 2023. Now, he said it was because of free speech Rumble allowed compared to YouTube, which is preposterous. Like, Quartering's not even spicy enough for that to be an authentic reason. Part of the reason why Quartering's been able to thrive over the years anyway is because all of the actual edgy people, the far righties, the edgelord comedians, the shot jock streamers and whatnot, would all get banned during the late 10s. And there was a vacuum for milquetoast righties like Ben Shapiro, Tim Pool, and the Quartering to thrive in. The actual reason Jeremy went to Rumble was for the fat checks Rumble was going to pay him to stream from there, and the benefits of constantly being on Rumble's front page. Jeremy's Rumble deal has made him a heavy chunk of change over the years, until it hasn't. See, Jeremy, despite his years of experience and frequent business failures at this point, still has failed to internalize one of the most basic rules of business, that is, preparing for downturns.
Yeah. Tori Sims fuck off and the Sims oblige. Now she's no fan Sims. Yeah, because there's nothing that special about her. Like, everything she does, you can be found elsewhere.
Business is booming, everything's easy. You can lose a couple stacks and recoup it all and then some in a few years. But when winter comes, when the drought comes, when that recession hits and the revenue ain't hitting like it used to, is your business capable of weathering the momentary hardship and not just fall apart?
Nope.
The answer, if your name is Jeremy Hambly, is no. Quartering's entire empire was built off the back of his YouTube success. His endless stream of YouTube slot videos is his financial foundation. Everything else is supplementary. So when these other businesses have been failing, Jeremy was like, it's fine. When his staff payroll gets a little high, he's like, meh, it'll be alright. Even when Rumble ended its deal with Jeremy, stopped paying him those big checks, his subscriptions there start drying up, and he didn't get reliably put on Rumble's front page anymore. He could still shrug and say, well, it's not great, but it's not the end of the world. But shit, it's different when his YouTube metrics start performing so well too.
Looks like there's some trouble in paradise.
See, Jeremy...
Oh my god, that's an old... I think that's one of Kofi Kingston's first promos. Back when they were pushing him as Jamaican for whatever fucking reason. Yeah, exactly. Again, though, like I said, bro, gotta be careful if using that WWE footage. Be fucking careful.
He's been getting a bit anxious as of late, like actually losing his shit a bit.
I know a lot of you have been asking about my breathing, what's going on with that. It's from anxiety, and I've been having a lot of it lately. I've been trying to get off the medication. I've been on, SSRIs for a long time for anxiety, and they tried to say, oh, well, let's up your dose, but I didn't want to do that. And my doctor's like, well, it's not as effective anymore because you've been on it for such a long time. I'm hoping this is just a rough patch. It was a really, really, really stressful July between, my foot. I had Achilles tendonitis, then I had gout, and then I had anxiety.
I knew he was going to say gout. When he mentioned foot, I'm like, I bet he got another gout flare up.
And then I had, the no paycheck for July because the Rumble deal expired. It was just a whole bunch of crazy, stressful stuff.
Now, you might look at these numbers and say, that's not bad. Well, they are bad when
Yeah,
you're
they
an
are.
almost 2 million sub channel and you're hundreds of thousands of dollars in the hole and are employing way more people than you should. Apparently, breaking even 70K on a video is no longer a guarantee for the quartering. Not unless he's talking about something topical like Charlie Kirk's assassination. By the way, Jeremy has been one of those guys going at Candace Owens for milking Charlie's death for views, despite making literally dozens of videos about Charlie in a row to milk his death for views too. Reminded that Jeremy's full of shit and just as much of a shameless grifter as Candace is. Jeremy's metrics are even worse on his secondary channel, Jeremy Hambly. This used to be a channel called
Quartercast,
and he can't even get 50K on a video reliably anymore. The last few months have been the worst performing months he's had on YouTube in years. And he can blame it on his channel getting shadow banned, censored, or strangled as if
whatever.
his cookie cutter ass clickbait is worth that type of effort from Google. The truth is, after being blessed with a gravy train for the better part of a decade, YouTube's algorithm doesn't care for the quartering in his stank anymore. Censorship on YouTube has actually lessened recently under Neil Mahan, and Neil's even let some edgy boys from the past who've been banned for a while back on the platform. Now this is terrible news for Jeremy, because the lack of competition was one of his main strengths. He can't hang in an era of YouTube where he's not getting that algorithmic stimulus package and has to compete with right-leaning content creators who make better content than his slop. The next few years of Jeremy's YouTube career aren't looking too bright. And if all this financial stress was occurring in just one place, that'd be bad enough. But it's everywhere, all at once. His main channel, his secondary channel, his Rumble, and worst of all, his coffee company.
Oh boy. Well, done with this.
Coffee Brand Coffee has gotten Jeremy all the way fucked up. Apparently, he's over $300,000 in debt.
What's wrong, everyone? Jeremy here from Recording. I wasn't sure I was going to go public about this, but it appears I have to now. Many of you know that I've got a lot of irons in the fire. You've heard me say, hey, I
think this is the video he made where, like, the title was something along the lines of, like, woke distributor is trying to kill my coffee company. And it turned out there was, like, some guy he was trying to work with who, like, just out of nowhere, like, stopped talking to him, and he was, like, a supplier. He had some role in the supply chain. And all of a sudden, he just stopped talking to Jeremy. I think he ghosted him, or they. I don't know if it's a he or a she, whatever. And Jeremy tried to frame it as, oh, this woke person found out who I was, and then because of that, because I'm not woke, they decided to not work with me, when there's literally zero evidence of that. And he even mentions it in the video, but he clickbaited it into making it sound like, oh, a woke person fucked me over.
You know, I've got my Mega Mixology cookbook to help fund the new studio. Obviously it's a meme, but you all know I have my coffee company. All of these things have stretched basically me to the absolute max. It was fine. You probably saw I was selling my Neo Geo collection. I'm selling my Nintendo collection. I'm selling all this stuff to help fund this stuff. We really are at an inflection point where a lot of companies would take on investors. You know, I've got $300,000 almost floating right now in debt. I'm just being dead serious.
And it's the worst type of debt. Debt that's tied to high interest loans and unsecured credit. And he just can't sell any of it. It doesn't matter how many flavors he has or how many holiday specials he makes, he's not moving any of this product. No market footprint and no market penetration. Only thing getting penetrated is Jeremy's bussy, cause winter is coming, bills are due, and he's got tons of inventory that nobody, including his fans, want. And before we get off this subject, I need to spill some beans about a certain not-so-secret detail concerning Coffee Brand Coffee.
Oh.
That is the claim that Jeremy does everything in-house at his privately owned coffee company and doesn't just drop ship.
There's a big difference between what I do and what most everyone else does. I don't drop ship my coffee. We roast our own special blends. We hand flavor
isn't that
our
bullshit?
beans. We pack our orders. We ship our orders. We handle our customer service. We are not a drop ship outlet. We're a real coffee company.
Yeah, that is also a lie. Jeremy doesn't do all the work in-house. Pick the beans, roast the blends, all that stuff. He didn't even really buy a coffee company at all. What he's actually been doing is repackaging coffee made by a company called Mill Creek Coffee Roasters and selling it as his own. Which he can do since Mill Creek Coffee Roasters is a private label that allows other white label companies, which Coffee Brand Coffee actually
Oh my God.
to do that. In a video Jeremy posted to prove that he does in fact have a roastery, people are able to compare these photos to ones that Mill Creek Coffee had available on their social media, and they looked identical. People also noticed that Coffee Brand Coffee's LLC coincidentally happened to share the exact same address as the LLC of Player One Coffee, a coffee company coincidentally owned by Zach Shutt, who's also the CEO of MetaPCs, coincidentally. One of Jeremy's main sponsors over
I was just
the
about to
years.
say.
Also, coincidentally, of course, Zach's Coffee ad also featured a roastery that looked an awful lot like Mill Creek's. Also, they somehow had the same address that was only a 20-minute drive from a facility owned by Mill Creek Coffee Roasters, who are the ones who are actually brewing this coffee. Not Player One Coffee, and certainly not Coffee Brand Coffee. This whole time, Quartering's been bragging about how he's doing everything in-house instead of
Oh man, that is fucking insane. I did not know that. I didn't know he was reselling coffee. That is just... Yeah, if you know that, like, it doesn't matter if it's good coffee. Like, so by that logic, then you can just go and find another, like, if you know the address and where to look, just find the YouTuber or content creator that you actually like, and then just buy it through them, because it's the same shit. It's the same coffee.
drop shipping. In reality, what he's doing is technically a step below drop shipping, because not only is Coffee Brand Coffee a white label product, it's just a copy of another white label product, Player One Coffee. And this isn't some grand secret either. Companies who actually do roast their own beans know exactly what Jeremy is doing. So the Coffee Brand Coffee company, that's basically a millstone around this motherfucker's neck at this point, was built on a lie that Quartering has been peddling for over 3 years. Let this be a lesson. Being a grifter doesn't always pay. The quartering is spiraling. His metrics keep dropping. His businesses have all failed or are actively failing. He's burning through money month after month, and Melanie Mack and Sydney Watson still won't give him a crumb. It's tough out here for Jeremy. Well, not really, because as much as Jeremy likes to e-beg his fans to bail him out of the latest financial Kimura lock he's put himself in.
Mother's Day is next week, but more important than that, I'm hoping, praying, asking you guys to support the channel.
He still lives one of the most decadent lifestyles in America. And he doesn't even hide it. At least with the Millhouse coffee roaster shit, he tries to keep that on the down low. He'll just openly talk about and post photos and videos of his collection of vintage arcade machines, his fleet of cars including a fully modded Cybertruck, his multiple $1,000 plus watches, his giant RC track on his
he
acres
just put
of
that
land,
in.
his giant ass house that he had personally built in his 7-foot tall saltwater fish tank. This ain't me tanky posting about Jeremy living it up too big. He can ball out as much as he wants with his money. This is me pointing out that a millionaire who lives like this has no business extending his hand and asking for a handout from his audience. The quartering being an ape when it comes to running his various businesses and being a giant consumer when it comes to managing his finances is the quartering's problem, nobody else's. Moist Critical recently turned off all forms of his monetization because he already felt he made too big of a bag over the years to justify it, and felt guilty about his working class fans continuing to give him their hard-earned money. But Big Hambly over here, nah, he needs those donos, he needs those memberships, he needs that
He needs
ad
that
revenue,
money, he really
needs
does.
a Rumble deal. He needs for you to buy his coffee. He needs for you to buy his MAGA mixology book. And he needs for you to pay for his hotel expenses. Holy shit, dude. Just get a cup, find a corner, and start begging pedestrians for change at this point, nigga. Goddamn.
So, bottom line, you're a huge grifter.
Massive.
Yeah.
I've actually,
here.
so I have it drawn out. I have basically a 2-year plan that started last year. I'm pretty sure that like my channel will be irrelevant like by this time next year. There hasn't been a big push in the last year. And if there isn't another one next year to kind of refresh viewership, I've already kind of started planning my exit plan. So I'm maximum grift.
Well, that was good. That was entertaining and informative. That's really what you look for in these things. Learned a bunch of stuff about him. I really am taken aback by that fucking. I mean, I'm not. It's one of those. I'm shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked. Things about the coffee. Like I didn't think that it was. Hold on a sec. Like I'm not shocked that he's just reselling it, because I could believe that he'd be do something as lazy, scummy, or whatever we want to call it. But yeah, man, that's crazy. All that stuff. This is a good video too. I recommend watching all of his Review Tech USA stuff. This guy, Mikey No More. Wow, that was fun. I meant to do this a couple of days ago. I think like a night or two ago, I was going to go and do this. But I took an edible and I was like, okay, depending on how I feel, I may or may not stream. And fortunately / unfortunately, it hit me a bit harder than I expected. So I kind of decided to spend the night in La La Land as opposed to trying to entertain an audience and do it badly. But whatever, it is what it is. Thanks everyone for stopping by. Hope you all had a good New Year's Eve. Hope we have a good New Year. I'll try to stream some stuff this weekend. Probably do a proper lolcow catch up. But we'll see. anyways, thanks everyone for stopping by. Marin, anyone else, especially if you're a channel member. If you were in chat, I would shout you out now. Any case, let's see, who can we? Looks like no one's on Twitch, so let's see on the YouTube side. We'll just do raw fill. Okay, well, everyone, have a good one, folks. That was fun. Yep. Again, Happy New Year, Brian. I will see you all later. Peace.